room for once. I mean, this is the vibe.
You've been on the show twice. But I think it was both during COVID.
Both during COVID. One was to promote Cinematic Oblivion, and one was just as like a third chair. And this time I'm promoting for the Balboa.
You were on one of those dumb COVID bonus things we were doing.
Those were fun.
They were fun, but I feel like they were unlistenable. Yours might have been the only one that worked, though.
I mean, I listened to my own voice because
Most of them are unlistenable.
I love the sound of my own voice, and I love the sound of your guys' voices. So especially
God,
the gentle lilt of Clark's Southern twang.
It really
it's undeniable. And I really loved the Charlotte's Net episode.
Oh shit, I love it
because I liked the guy's Australian accent too. It was nice, and how he's going on to make romantic comedies next.
What the fuck? We'll see.
Well, he wants to make The Great American Virgin, he said, which is a remake itself of an Israeli comedy called Eskimo Limon.
That's way better.
Hey, if you're gonna say something, you gotta let me know, because I'm gonna keep the woman mic off. Okay, because the boys are talking today.
Wow.
Speaking of, why the hell isn't Randy here?
Randy has pink eye.
Oh no, he was eating ass, huh?
Probably not.
He's probably scratching his butt and waking up and rubbing his eyes or something equally boring. But also, if he just had pink eye, why the hell didn't he just come over or like call via the internet like we do every week?
Wasn't he also the most cautious about COVID of any of you?
Correct.
Yeah.
By far.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have direct association with his laissez-faire attitude about global pandemic.
Hey, I don't have pink eye. I'm not going to die from pink eye.
I would have like really drawn a line in the sand about but it's over. I'm vaccinated, so
thank you.
I'm chilling. I'm happy to be here with you
Dude.
guys.
I've got the GPS chip in me as well.
It doesn't hurt that bad. The chip's not. That's what I tell my paranoid aunt. It's not that bad.
Have you tried the magnet?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
that freaks me out. I don't want.
I'm basically Magneto now. It's fucking great.
I like that you're scared because you think it might work.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't like weird magnet.
And we're gonna
stuff.
shatter your paradigm of what's going on in your blood.
My blood stopped working.
Oksana, I know you weren't in the room, but did you hear that they've already done 2 Millimurders?
No. I knew about the Bride of Frankenstein one.
There was one right before called that was Night of the Living Dead. One right before that was Night of the Living Dead. Now, to be fair, both of those. I'm not trying to shame Roxana here or anything.
We are.
You can if you want, but I think you do incredible work. Both of those had previously shown at the Balboa, so it's easy to have been confused because they've been listed on previous calendars.
Yeah.
16 Millimurder. First showing on the first round pre-COVID was Night of the Living Dead. And then Bride of Frankenstein showed at the Parklet. And I was one of a few people who bundled up to sit in the fog outside and watch it.
How was that screen?
I mean, it was very gothic, It was a very gothic experience with the fog rolling over the screen. A little too quiet. I think they could have got... we've talked about it. The Balboa is trying to get a better sound system for the outdoor screening because they've really gathered a group that now comes to the parklets to do like the cartoons and stuff. Like kids will come to watch cartoons.
So they're still going with the parklets
every now and then. Not as much as they were, before it was like every weekend they would do a 3-day pop-up. And basically for me throughout COVID, they became half clothing brand, half live music venue.
Right.
That's
hey, whatever works, man.
Half my closet is now Balboa gear.
That new carpet is wonderful.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
It's a beautiful carpet.
It's beautiful. That's why I can't bring my dog there though, because it's brand new carpet.
You feel bad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the Balboa, so we could talk about the real reason why we brought you on here.
Let's
give the ray gun back. I know you stole it, dude. Did you hear about that?
No.
Somebody jacked the ray gun off the wall.
Oh, wait. Yes, I did hear about that. And they know who did it.
Oh, they do?
I don't want to like start a vigilante hunt on here.
Inside job.
Wait.
It was an inside job.
If the ray gun was the same as the guy who robbed the Godzilla merch. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So... Oh, God, I don't know if Adam wants me telling tales out of school, but
allegedly.
But no, I'll tell you what happened, because that was one of the best weekends of the post-COVID era for me. That was Godzilla Fest, and Godzilla Fest is usually how I start the school year because it comes in like September. And so I go to school for a few days, teach, and then I go get to do a really fun weekend just getting drunk watching Godzilla movies, right? Sure. So they were doing it way later than they usually do to the Balboa after COVID. And then there was this character who apparently kept coming around trying to like sell weird Godzilla merch, because I don't know if you guys have been to Godzilla Fest, but they are all these tables that sell really cool Godzilla merch. I got a really sweet Baragon there. This year I got a Megalon. There's just cool shit. If you're like in the Balboa toy game, that's the place to go get some stuff. So this guy showed up. He was selling some stuff. I think some of the tables bought some stuff from him, but he was just a little weird. Harry also realized after the fact that he was a guy who had threatened to wait outside for him after work, and he was going to beat the shit out of him.
Oh, wait, why?
Because he's not a nice guy. I don't know. The guy came in and Harry was like, "You can't." I wasn't there for that. Harry would tell that story better, but he came in. He was acting a fool. Harry said, "Get the hell out." He said, "Okay, well, I'm going to get out, but I'm going to be waiting for you."
Oh my God. Been there before.
He wasn't waiting for him. He went
On
home.
which end?
What do you think?
Well,
I'm not the type to threaten anybody.
It was like Happy Gilmore. I'll be waiting for you in the
yeah.
parking lot. Yeah. But anyway, so this guy came around. Soon after that guy left, a woman from, I think it's Toy Boat, where they have a bunch of like cool toys in the Richmond. She was like, "Oh, by the way, if this guy just came through, he robbed me like a few weeks ago. He's a toy thief. So please be so please be careful of this guy." Then Harry and I are in the middle of the showing of Godzilla versus Smog Monster. He gets off work. He goes to the Smog Monster showing. And we're sitting there, and someone in the back alley exit just opens, and sunlight just pours in the middle of this film screening. And Harry's like, "What the hell?" And he runs down, and it's the same guy. And that guy was clearly trying to get in, thinking, not knowing that there was a movie showing. And Harry's like, "Get out." And then Adam, who, used to run with like the concert scene, so he knows how to back people down, was like, "Get the fuck out of here. You're never coming back here again. If I ever see you, I'll kick you out." And then like 2 nights later, they get robbed. So the assumption is that Mr. Toy Thief got in there. It's a real fucking shame. But I will say a positive note at the end of this, because I was in a blind fury when I found out that happened.
Yeah.
A positive note. They posted about it on Instagram, and a lot of Balboa audience members and fan people came by and donated like new Godzilla merch to the theater. And we're like, "Here, you can have this big Godzilla. Here, you can have." We didn't get the ray gun, but like they donated shit like that. And so the
there
spirit
still
of
is a
giving,
community.
as Mr. Rogers said, you want to look for the people who are helping, right?
Where the hell?
Now let's go after the toy guy.
I know. Well, I'll tell you off air maybe where he lives, because I'm not about to dox. I'm not about to dox someone on the podcast.
Wait,
Let's Frankenstein style raid the village
where is
with our dead daughter in our hands.
one? Adam is so quiet and chill, but I totally believe that he would punk a dude out.
Oh yeah.
He's one of those quiet types, like Randy. He's carrying a lot of rage in his belly.
But there's some.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on his bad side.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, none of us are.
The other thing is, where the fuck is that alley entrance? I don't know about that.
Oh, so there's 2 alleys actually. One is inaccessible except through the inside, and that's where staff hangs out and, after work. It's a cool spot. The other alley, if you go to the complete other side of the block, or actually it's on the side, you can like go down this ramp. It's where they sometimes unload stuff, and there is an alley that accesses the back door. The door was broken, was the problem. So it could be forced open, and now they've repaired it since then.
That's part of the Balboa? I went down there, dude, when we were first doing at the Balboa, we had a ton of really dumb ideas, and one of them was like hiding shit in the neighborhood. Clark had no part in this, so
Correct.
But like, we were walking around and we're like, where could we put like a scavenger hunt thing, or like, what if I took pictures around here and we made art? And I remember that alley was one of the cool.
Oh yeah.
Like, it felt like a hidden urban area.
Yeah.
But I guess that weirdo knew about it.
He knew. There also was a guy, right when COVID started, there was a guy who was going back there and starting fires. So they installed a camera and he stopped. It's you get weird types. I mean, honestly, that neighborhood has become my favorite neighborhood in the city.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it is exempt from the sort of David Lynch vibes that you sometimes get as you get closer to the beach.
Or poop.
Well, I haven't seen as much of that in that area, luckily.
That's good.
I'm not saying you won't, but
Sure.
I have not.
No, for as much as we joked about poop, I had never run into it until the first time I went out after COVID, and I was on mission.
Dude,
and then it was like landmines everywhere.
The Financial District is rough.
Oh, okay.
Well,
haven't
yes,
been down
but
there.
that's exactly the point, and I'll be the San Francisco defender, is tourists always go on like the San Francisco subreddit,
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah.
your city is disgusting. And it's like, you went to the 3 blocks tourists go to. Why don't you come to my neighborhood? I'll show you some beautiful stuff. And if you do go to the Financial District, I have no sympathy for you. I haven't been there in 3 years, Like, that's a gross part of the city.
That's why we had, a director like Paul McGee flew out from the UK. And he was like, I'd love to come back. But, of course, he took a, 20-mile hike by foot.
He walked from a hostel in Union Square to the Balboa.
Hey, you know what? He probably saw a lot of San Francisco.
He did.
I right before my 30th birthday, I did the Parks and Rec Department's Cross City Walk, where you go from Hunters Point to Sutro Baths, and I thought I was going to see a lot of like city life, but it turns out you can actually walk that whole walk, which took me about 8 hours, without encountering almost any city. You're in parks like the whole time.
Really?
Yeah. Like pretty much the whole time. Now, to be fair, Candlestick Park, and I used to work in Hunters Point, Candlestick Park is potentially radioactive, but it's beautiful, and there are ground squirrels everywhere. So.
That land's worth a lot of money. There's some East Bay land that's radioactive.
What are they doing over there? Condos?
They tore down Candlestick. I think they're building condos. I don't know. I used to work at a warehouse over there, and I would eat lunch there. Mm-hmm. It's a really nice area that no one goes to, but yeah, apparently the water is radioactive. I don't know what it's built on top. So is Treasure Island, they say, and so is Sutro Tower, which I now live near. So
Treasure Island, that's a joy.
I hear Treasure Island is sinking.
Treasure Island is at high risk, and I don't think they've done the music festival in a few years.
No.
But Treasure Island is at high risk for liquefaction. If there is a
good bad name.
If there is an earthquake, it could basically turn into ocean within like minutes.
I can't get no. Come on, liquefaction.
That's not good.
Okay, what about buried Treasure Island?
That's not bad.
I'll sign up on that one.
I will say I went there recently, and there's some really quiet parts of Treasure Island where you can gaze at the sea and feel like Ernest Hemingway. So I'll give it credit for that. I've never been to
Ernest Hemingway would hate Treasure Island.
You know what I hate about Treasure Island? The damn on-ramp or off-ramp. One of those.
I've never been to Treasure Island.
You definitely can accidentally get on Treasure Island without meaning to, because you made like one mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you get back on the freeway, it's like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Why would I need to have gone to Treasure Island?
I don't know. Music festival. They used to do a lot of flea markets there.
Yeah, you know me, Mr. Music Festival.
I don't know. Maybe hot dogs in paradise.
I always picture Clark just taking Molly and covered in glow sticks on the weekends. Right?
I would do Molly.
Yeah, now's a good time because things are opening back up, Clark. You know.
Let's get some Molly.
No. He would do Molly in his bedroom with Hulu on.
No. Molly is for friends.
Yeah, it's for cuddle puddles. Yeah.
Oksana, back me up. He would do Molly in the backyard and lay in the sun for an hour.
That wouldn't be too bad.
That'd be pretty good.
That'd be pretty good.
I sign up on that.
If you got someone who's willing to give you a scalp massage, I would say get them on deck for the Molly.
All right, you heard it here. Anybody out there?
Can I task rabbit that?
yeah, I think you could.
Dear Task Rabbiter.
Do you know when you go get a massage why there's a sign in the front that says if you seem to be on illicit substances, we will reject you? It's because people take Molly and try to go get professional massages.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Oh, this is great. I had one of those wire things that you put on your head.
Yeah, you could just get one of those, Then you don't need anybody.
But I feel like if Molly, that would not be.
No, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, but then I look at it and it look like a spider.
No, it's not a hallucinogen. Well, not really. It's not acid.
Yeah, but then you're mixing this with my DNA.
Oh,
all right.
Okay.
We got a lot of problems.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to figure out what's right for you. Mainly, people like to go to nightclubs. You may want to try that.
What else we got?
Yeah.
You figured out what's right for you. You probably got it on you in that dumb little pocket.
Yeah,
what's
your combo? What's your medicine nowadays?
In and Out.
In and Out.
Also,
I got the shirt
I ordered the wrong thing at In and Out.
What'd you get?
I meant to get a number 1. I said number 2.
Oh, that's just a
cheeseburger.
Yeah,
not the double.
Yeah, well, you get 2 number 2s, and then
that is that's true. But then you got all the bread. Oh, how was it? Now, okay, Nick, this is very important.
Okay.
Last night I did not ask them because we went to In-N-Out after we talked about In-N-Out on the show last night, and then we decided we were going to go. We went because Randy told us about a secret menu item that we were not privy to.
Is it this thing?
And that is the tomato wrap.
Oh my God. I saw this on TikTok. I didn't know people were actually doing this.
So these two got the tomato wrap. I did not hear the verdict.
What'd you think?
It's not worth the trouble.
It seems really wet.
Well, the thing is that the paper that they make it in gets like sucked into the burger itself and covered in cheese. So half the cheese is just on the paper in the bag.
Wax paper. Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but it's not worth the trouble.
She fucked up. She tried to eat it like a dainty little girl and you had it wrapped halfway and you were doing like the apple eating, that's
how I would do it too. I don't want to get tomato all over my hands.
You're
There's no
fooling
helping
yourself.
it.
You're
You
not.
can't help it.
Yeah, you're gonna get dirty. So I just pulled the whole thing off. I went raw dog on that bitch, and it was okay.
I like to get it with the banana peppers, double animal style with banana.
Wait, they have
peppers.
banana peppers?
That's
You have to ask
my
for them.
order.
You have to ask for them.
That is my order.
Yeah,
Sometimes I will
yeah.
go sans onions, but that's what I do.
Yeah, animal style. You have to ask. Say chopped chilies. They'll throw them on. It changes the whole
The
game.
chilies, I've been telling you this for years.
It's really a game
I've
changer.
been bitching to you for years because I said I like Five Guys because they have jalapenos.
Bitch, I've been telling you about the chilies forever.
So,
Oksana?
I'm on this
Wait,
train.
chilies and banana peppers are different things.
That's what
No,
they
I
call,
know, but
that's what they call them, the chilies.
I
What
agree.
if you had said banana peppers? That's a different story.
But it was,
you see what I deal with?
No.
right. So you didn't say banana peppers, but the thing
I
is,
did say banana pepper.
You said chilies.
But the thing
What's
is,
up, banana
that's,
pepper?
that's what they ask you to say to get the banana
Yeah.
peppers. You got to say chopped chilies. You can also get them on your animal fries, and that is also a game changer.
Neither of us have worked at In-N-Out, so I don't know the lingo. You gotta
I've
say.
been telling you the lingo because I am a steward of In-N-Out.
Wait, did you work there at some
No,
point?
but I love them.
No,
dearly.
I love them too. I really think they're great, and they, I'm willing to put them on my back and carry.
100%.
And say it's a
Again,
great burger.
I'm wearing the damn shirt.
Yeah, he is.
I love them more.
You've got blood in the cup.
You changed me.
He's got the In-N-Out shirt. I got the Carnival of Souls. So wait, Clark, we were talking about your medicine. I am a little curious. Was that my whole family is now microdosing mushrooms? That's like my entire family, and I'm trying to get into it, but I think I'm a little old. I'm a little beyond.
Nah,
that.
psilocybin, it's great.
I did one micro dose of mushrooms back when Randy did that for 6 months.
I did on my birthday this year, and I had an okay time.
You got Clark.
I think it was vacuum.
You got too much baggage. I wouldn't recommend it.
You would-
What, mushrooms?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've come a long way. Marijuana helped me dig out
I think
some
it's
shit.
because you're forced to be around people.
Yeah.
I think you've gotten a little better.
Mushrooms are a little more confrontational.
It'll if you're having a bad trip with that, it could be very bad.
I'll tell you a funny story, and I don't
I can
think
handle it, though.
I don't think Harry will mind me saying this. I was talking about how, like, if you do take mushrooms and decide to watch a movie, I think, because I want to have a pleasant time, that you want to watch something like Kiki's Delivery Service, or
hell
maybe
yeah.
Wizard of Oz, or something like really like visual and pleasant.
Ooh, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, one of the best movies I've seen recently. This is not a shroom thing. Was Jigoku, which is, you guys have probably heard of it. It's a 60s Japanese movie about going to hell, sort of based on Dante's Inferno, and they use really gory with a J. They use really gory, like that. Like practical effects of people getting like flayed, and there's like beating organs, and it's very, very cool. It's Gijoku.
Now,
and I told Harry this is one of the best movie. I'm sorry, I said Jigoku. I'm so sorry.
this is exactly why I passed her the HDMI. I don't know if you were paying attention.
I saw you.
I was
Yeah.
trying to do Millimurder, and I'm like, I'm sitting here with an English teacher, and he fucking won't let me get away with anything,
KU.
too.
And it's the Sinners of Hell, 1960s. Yeah, that's the one. Click on like the images. It is got like some rough stuff, practical effects. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough. I thought it was a masterpiece. But I tell Harry about it, and I'm like, this movie is freaking rough for something that came out in the 60s. It's got like actual people being skinned alive and stuff in it. And he's like, cool, I'll take a bunch of shrooms and watch that. And I was like, I would definitely not do that. And so, Russ, as long as you don't take shrooms and watch like Charlotte's Net, I think you'll maybe be okay. That's all I'm saying.
He'd probably giggle for days.
So me?
Yeah.
After you go 2 rounds with the net, it kind of...
You're numb.
It numbs you out. Numbs you out at a certain
See,
point.
and that's scary.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if you... Nick, we had a couple people over. Jasadi came by, and he really wanted to watch it. And he's,
You can't find it anywhere else.
No, you can't. He's cinematographer from the East Bay. Also, if anybody out there wants to watch it, I've got a deal going right now. I could get it to you. But you're going to have to sign
What
a waiver.
kind of disgusting filth dealer?
Also, you said, and I'm not trying to like run down anything where James Dobbin Jones said like no comment, but he made one implication that there's something on the dark web, and you're like, that kind of scares me. What are you talking about? I was like, I can't say any more about that.
I know.
he made maybe that was just part of the marketing, but he made like one little joke about like there's extra footage on the dark web.
I think he cited a website to go to where you could buy like a different version.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I talk to James like pretty regularly.
Oh, really?
I think because I knew early on when I watched the film, I'm like, you're not going to get the reaction I'm giving you out of like anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really just because we wade into this shit all the time. And I think he's come back around, and he's kind of like, he's getting rejected from Film Fest that like would pride themselves on showing censored or unwatchable things.
Is
like,
he surprised?
I don't think so. I think he's just kind of disheartened.
Well, he's an idiot.
I mean, he's going next to make like a accessible sex comedy, so that should be good. Oksana's got up on the screen right now. What I like best about it, having not seen it, is just the cover art is awesome. It really looks like the proverbial lost film that will break your soul. You know, like do not go deep into the dark. It looks like something from the '80s that you weren't supposed to see, like Video Nasty era. You know?
Go back to the other poster.
That poster, I freaking love that. With the rated X, don't go deep into the dark. I just watched, you guys probably saw this too, I just watched that new movie Censor, which was about like the Video Nasty era. This looks like one of the movies from Censor. Like that's like what, you know, the movie from Censor.
What did you think of that film?
I liked it. I mean, it was a little, I heard it, I'm sure, you know, I heard about it compared by Red Letter Media. They compared it to Saint Maud, and I see that comparison. I kind of would have preferred a straightforward mystery with an actual conclusion.
Okay.
But once I realized it was sort of spoilers, more of a descent into madness movie, I was like, all right, I guess I'm going along for this. 6.5. I'd say 6.5. Saint Maud, I thought, was literally they did math with an A24 movie. They said, hey, what if we did First Reformed plus The Lighthouse?
Oh, okay.
And then they made Saint Maud.
I haven't seen Saint Maud. I started it because I've been working in Phoenix a lot, and 20 minutes in, I need to watch this at the screen.
Yeah, it's worth it. I was pretty high, I think, when I saw it, and I remember thinking it's a very meditative movie.
No, Saint Maud is pretty like paint by numbers A24.
It really is.
The thing I loved about it though was the way it ended.
Yeah, that was
because
a good
I didn't
ending.
think.
Yep.
Yeah, I just didn't see that coming.
Right.
With fucking Censor though, man, I would have loved it if they would have just stuck art house or like gone genre.
Yeah.
Because they kind of like walked the line. And I was way more into the first act than the third.
Yeah, it was trying to be an A24 movie a little bit, I think.
Yeah, what it should have been was like Videodrome. Like if they would have laid out like a path and then lost it at the end, and you're kind of like, wait, but what are we doing? Where that movie, I knew everything.
Yeah.
Like I could connect the dots all the way through, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, I saw where it was going pretty early on, but it fit into a genre that's only getting more popular, and it's a genre that I love, which is I call it the mad masterpiece genre, where it's like there's a film or there's a book that's going to drive you crazy. Probably the first example is like The King in Yellow.
Okay,
and then like there's more examples with like House of Leaves or Infinite Jest or Cigarette Burns, you know, stuff like, or Antrum. Yeah. Antrum's a good example also, you know, the thing of like, this is the movie that'll drive you crazy. I'm into that. And also, what's your friend's name who wrote the really good book? Sam Pierce, right?
Yeah.
Who wrote the book that's about the Giallo movie that does that. There's another side story that I wrote a podcast that was about that too, and I sent it to Radiotopia, and then they reused a movie title I made up in a later piece. They did.
Right.
I'm not suing them about it or anything, because fine, they can have it. But they definitely listened to my audition, said, nah, not for us, and then you reused some of the names I'd made up. But
okay.
But that's okay.
So there was a lot there. Hold on, Radiotopia. I'm not. That's a podcast.
Okay, listen. I'm not. I have zero beef, because Radiotopia is a podcast network, and they do a lot of good stuff. They're Bay Area based. They're based in Oakland. They do like 99% Invisible is probably their most famous. They do Radio Diaries. They do The Truth, which is their radio theater show that I really liked. So right there, they
Ear
had
Hustle.
Yeah, Ear Hustle was the one that beat me, and fair enough, because it's a great podcast. Where they had an open call for podcast pilots, and I sent in basically another radio theater pilot, where I was like, hey, what if I did fake movie reviews for movies that don't exist?
Rad.
And we like make this like a mythology, you know?
Yeah.
And I would kind of run it as like a Mad Masterpiece series. So I sent one in that was very similar to Sam Pierce's story about like, there's this Italian director no one heard of named David Gorgon, who made these movies that actually turned the audience to stone. That was the plot.
I like
it. And his movie that turned the audience to stone was called Medusa Rises, you know, because it's like he literally got a Medusa and showed it on screen, you know? That was the plot. And I sent that. They wrote back like, hey, cool concept, but like, nah, we're going with the show Ear Hustle. I listened to Ear Hustle. It's produced by prisoners in San Quentin. It's fascinating. Fair enough. They won.
Yeah.
Then on an episode of The Truth, which is their radio theater show that they have, they did one called The Body Genius, which is about this personal trainer who like helped actors change their bodies for movies. And in that, one of the actors was like, I just got cast in Medusa Rises. And I was like, those sons of bitches. They took the title. They took the title straight from my thing, which is fine. They probably didn't even realize they were doing doing it. You know. Also, the Polybius Conspiracy is another really good radio theater show that they did.
Dirty dog.
Anyway, that's my
Look,
story.
you're machine gunning this shit. I wanted to go back to the the King in Yellow, but do you know the Polybius machine story, Clark?
No.
A long time ago, I tried to show you an angry video game nerd episode.
That was a good one.
Now, that was back with UF1.
Right.
And I'm like, do you think we could show something like this? And the problem I ran into...
Could you contact James?
Well, the thing is, he's not hard to get. Actually, now that he broke up with his buddy, I think...
Mike Matei?
Yeah.
Because he's twitching full time now.
And he's like a fucking lunatic. And he's boring. That's really what he's guilty of, is just being a boring
Who are
fucking
we talking
streamer.
about?
We're talking about AVGN.
The angry video game nerd. He's like way early.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Exceptional YouTube channel, man.
So the problem is that...
It's too angry, man.
He did like a faux doc on that arcade
Yeah.
machine, except it doesn't work without the context, which is really weird considering that most of the shit that we pushed is all about having no context. But then I showed it to you and you're just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Right. And then they did the same thing with the Polybius Conspiracy podcast, because what it is it's a like half real, half fake like story of a guy who says he actually got kidnapped by the government after playing it.
Oh.
And it's part fiction, part fact. Because it did originate from Portland,
Yeah.
and they said it was like showing up at arcades, and that basically there were multiple stories, but it was like hypnotic. People said it was kind of like Tempest, and there's legends from it is like from hell, and it changes your brain, to it is a recruiting tool used by the government to see who's the best fighter, and then they pull you into like Black Ops if you're really good at the game. But what he's talking about is James Nintendo Nerd made a video where he's like, someone told me they actually have a Polybius machine,
Yep.
and then it turns into a faux doc like found footage horror movie, and it's pretty good. I mean, I think he's getting better at doing the long form narrative. He just did one that was like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas too.
Now, you're a big film fan. Do you ever worry that like video games are just gonna usurp the whole thing?
This is okay. So this is kind of, speaking of another internet film reviewer, this is sort of what Red Letter Media's entire thesis was, and what they were scared of is like, are movies just going to become like rides? Are movies just going to become like when you go into a 3D ride, or when you go to see Star Tours and there's like the intro, welcome Jedi, is that what movies are going to become? The answer is I think there will always be space for movies that are non-interactive, but I do think that stuff like Bandersnatch or like that new Kimmy Schmidt interactive stuff are going to become way more popular on Netflix. Like click through, you interact with your remote stuff. I do think that's going to become. But what do you mean?
I don't think I don't think people interacting with movies is going to change. I just think it's going to become like obsolete. Yeah. Like when you go to see a movie, it's a different thing. But like, I think, like Gen Z or, all the younger kids coming, I think they're just going to be more into video games. Like yesterday when we recorded, I did like 28 minutes trying to like wrap my head around an ARG. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with Petscop?
No.
Now check that out, because it's kind of like Polybius, where it's about a fictitious video game, but it's more cinematic because you kind of have like a Let's Play guy recording himself running through a game that clearly was developed by somebody he worked with. But it's like a Lynchian story. It's kind of like The King in Yellow.
Right.
Although The King in Yellow really needs to hit social media.
Well, okay, wasn't there a plot line about that in that long YouTube series you guys showed during UF this year?
Yeah.
About like a video game like that she was playing that was like Lost Media.
Oh my God, what the fuck was the name of it?
I Am Sophie.
Thank you. I couldn't even pull the
During
name.
I Am Sophie, there was one where she was playing like a weird video game.
Wait, how much did you hang out for?
I hung out.
Yeah, I know you came in late.
Till around. No, I started with the
Space Clown.
No, I started before that with the one that was in Spanish.
1974.
Yeah, started with that one.
1974.
Watched through till middle of I Am Sophie around there, and then got back on in the morning for some more business. We kept it going for kind of a while. But
thank you for your service.
No, it was great. Honestly, you guys really did your work to be alienating this year by going Space Clown straight into Real 2. That was like, I mean, who's fucking cool? Who wants to hang out?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna talk out of the side of my mouth so the audience can't hear.
What are you doing to me?
You gotta not let Clark program movies blind. You gotta watch them first. That's what we learned from that year.
Okay. For the record,
Clark, by the way, your hosting personality was hilarious. We loved that.
Space Clown. Okay. if we were to go back into the annals of the event and go through the chat, do a forensic deep dive into the chat, we'll notice that Space Clown was non-stop dialogue, baby.
Yeah. Love it or hate it, that's the film everybody talked about.
It's true. It's true. And
You're welcome.
And then I remember when Reel 2 started, there were several. Can we go back to Space Clowns?
Well, my favorite thing was when Reel 2 started, it opens up with like a clip show of Reel 1.
Oh, yeah.
Except nobody had seen it.
It's like a four-screen, split-screen torture.
Yeah, he's going De Palma on steroids.
Oh, yeah,
there.
yeah.
And I love it because Kevin Saxby jumped in, one of the creators of Tofino,
Right.
which, is like a darling at our festival, and it was really cool to have him like around again. Instantly lost him. I think he saw like a wiener pop up, and then I think it might have got chopped off, and then he went, okay, and then I think he just vanished after that.
Right. Also, the one I hadn't seen last time that I loved, speaking of Tofino, similar vibe, was Devil in the Shack, or Devil in the Shack 2.
Yep.
For a month after that, all I was playing in my car was Do Ya by ELO. I was just blasting it. Everywhere I drove in the city, I was blasting it. But, okay, sorry, to kind of bring you back to your original question, I recently, for the first time, not too recently, but during COVID, it's all blending together. I played through Earthbound, and then I played through Undertale.
Okay.
And, of course, I loved Undertale. It was fantastic. And it does elements of that interactivity where, like, the game quits on you in the middle of, like, a boss battle, and you have to, like, restart it, and then it's like, I hate your game, but you're actually in the middle of a battle. And I think there will be more sort of like narrative based but simple like 8-bit 16-bit games. However, I'm not as worried about Gen Z as some people are for a few reasons. One is because I taught Gen Z for 6 years. I'm going to teach middle school next year, but I'm moving to a private middle school in Marin. I've been teaching at a charter in San Francisco.
No, was that your choice?
Yeah, it was my choice.
Okay.
I was ready to move
They didn't
on.
run you out.
No.
You gotta go across that bridge every day now?
It's actually equidistant to where I used to work. It's like,
Really?
because I'm going against traffic. Most people come this way. Yeah, it's about 30 minutes. But I'll say this. I ran movie club in my room every day of when I was teaching high school, and kids came through to watch movies you might not expect like modern teenagers to like. Kids came through to watch Lady Snowblood. Kids came through to watch Candyman, the original. Kids came through to watch all kinds of weird anime. And in the last year I got really brave with October. The first year I was doing it, I was like, I'm just gonna show Addams Family, I'll show Hocus Pocus. The last year I was like, no parent has complained yet, so let's do Candyman.
How did Snowblood go over?
Snowblood was a huge hit. In fact, you got a lot of girls for that one who thought it was a real girl boss movie.
Yeah, it is.
And it is. It's great. And I showed Candyman, Pet Sematary, Us. I was just showing them all the stuff, and I closed my door and put a little warning on the door that said, we're showing real horror movies this year, only come in if you can handle it. And I got more people than I've ever gotten before. So and the other thing I was going to say, and this kind of will tie it back to the main topic, which is the Millimurder, is I think that the big megaplex, which was so big in the 80s, it's what the whole season 3 of Stranger Things is about. I think the big megaplex movie theater is sort of dying because we don't need that anymore. Just like we don't need Borders Books and Music or Barnes and Nobles, but the boutique is still very popular. So yes, I do think that stuff like Wonder Woman 84 is still going to go straight to streaming.
In metropolitan areas.
Right. Oh,
but like, what's this going to do in like, small town USA?
Clark always keeping us humble because I don't know anything about small town.
The Cineplexes and even like the larger, because like take Mississippi for example.
Sure.
Like there's really not a whole lot of independent theaters.
But what about streaming? Can't you just stay home in your Mississippi house and watch Wonder Woman 84 on HBO
For sure,
Max?
but what I'm talking specifically like when I grew up.
Right.
Like I only had the Cineplexes. It would be like 20 miles from my house. It was which 20 miles equals 20 minutes where I grew up. So it was a 4-screen, but it was like a United Artists or a Regal. So.
Right.
There's no independent theaters, and there's really no independent movies until like the Malco moved in, and the Malco again is a chain, but they would show independent films, and that's really like I would have to go to New Orleans to go watch independent films.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm also thinking about it from a very San Francisco perspective, to be fair. But what I guess what I'm saying is it's like as it moves more to why do movie theaters exist, since everything will go straight to streaming, the reason movie theaters exist is to show movies you want to see in a movie theater. You know what I mean? And And not everything needs to go straight to a movie theater. Some things can go straight to streaming, and I think that's okay.
Well,
I think that's the changing market.
I think a major part of it too is the thing that Fortnite can offer you is like you're consuming art in a room with other people,
Right.
Which changes it.
It's especially good for comedies and horror movies because you get those big group reactions. I'll tell you. Okay, so to bring it to Millimurder, that's what I pretty much only go to the Balboa to see old movies. I rarely go there to see new movies. I guess I saw the last new movie I saw there was Parasite, and Parasite was showing first at like the Balboa, and then eventually made it to the big screen in a lot of theaters, but it started on an indie run, and until it became like an Oscar contender, it wasn't showing it.
It's got Virtue, it's got Vice.
Yeah, right.
Have you seen How To with John Williams?
No.
John Wilson?
No.
Okay, we got to show him that before he leaves.
Yeah.
You guys definitely got to show me, and maybe we'll watch Charlotte's
Are you going to tell him what that's from? That scene?
So How To with John Wilson is so John Wilson is a documentarian, and he got a show on HBO, and essentially like he would do like a half-hour show on scaffolding.
Wait, are you talking about Joe Pera? That's my favorite show on HBO.
It's he does have a similar energy to Joe Pera.
Okay.
Big fan of Joe Pera as well.
Big fan of Joe Pera.
But John Wilson is great, and he essentially had one episode where God, what was the theme of that one? How to cover your furniture.
Yeah.
It was how to cover your furniture, and he ended up going, he's based out of New York, he ended up going to Chicago to this guy who has a contraption that he has invented to grow your foreskin back on your penis.
Oh, the anti-circumcision movement.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
does that
this
really
guy,
work? You can grow it back?
Oh, yes,
An
it does
inch a
work.
year.
Yes. So
Are you serious?
So this guy does music. He has a song where that was one of the lyrics. Grow an inch a year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix me.
Oh, great. I know. But just a foreskin. You can't grow like
Just
the rest of you.
Well,
No, he'd have money if you could grow
Yeah.
more than that.
I would be a part of this club,
Right,
if
okay.
that was the case. But also, they got me 2 T-shirts, so I've got 2 T-shirts from the TLC Tugger guy. But essentially, so one of the best scenes I have ever seen in all of television, and I'll go as far it's film, is he's naked and he's got his dick out and he's got the machine. It's tied to the bedpost, and he's laying back and his dick's up like towards his belly button. And then John Wilson's like, "Have you seen anything recently?" He's like, "Yeah, I saw Parasite." Man, what a film! It's got Virtue, it's got Vice. And it's the best.
That's one of those movies I genuinely do love, and they got so hyped that it didn't become cool to like it anymore, but I still do really like it. I think
It's
it was
great.
But basically, like,
Not his best film.
no. I had to think about it first. I had to think about the film.
Did you watch it in black and white?
No, in color.
Okay.
At the beginning. I don't know why he re-released it in black
I
and white.
don't either.
I thought it was good in color.
It seemed like
I watch it in
a
black
money
and white.
grab.
It just seemed, I don't know, maybe he changed
He's
his mind.
hot, baby.
Why would you take a successful movie and try to change it? Take your bad movies and change them.
Because he's hot. He's out there. Let him get some shekels.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I am. But that was the last new movie I saw at the Balboa. Mostly I see old movies. Mostly I hear, oh my God, they're showing, one of my favorites. I'll go check it out. I had so much fun seeing, like, for example, when they do Rewind Wednesday, going to see like Josie and the Pussycats, or seeing recently Crossroads on the big screen.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that was.
I've never watched that. Is it worth it?
Okay, so this is where I get into a major topic I wanted to talk about an upcoming Millimurder, which is, I know, and this is probably one of the areas where Russ and I disagree. I know Russ does not like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
No, I don't.
I am a fan, but I will say this. I think that people, not that one, the Britney Spears one. I think that people see stuff like MST3K and they think they can do it. And so there were too many people at the Crossroads showing who were trying to MST3K it. And I feel the same way about razzing a movie as I do about tagging, like graffiti. If you're gonna do it, you better be good.
Okay.
You better be telling. So like when I'm at Crossroads and people are like, "Get it, Brittany, get it, girl," I'm like, okay, you're not really making any jokes. Like if you're gonna be like riffing on this movie, you need to be funny. You need to be making really good. And also about 30 minutes into Crossroads, I was like, this movie is actually good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not an American classic. It's not amazing. Screenplay by Shonda Rhimes, not bad. You got Kim Cattrall as the negligent mother. You've got got some good dynamics. And Britney Spears, I think that
It's Britney.
I think we're all reassessing the way we treated her, and and I think that she got dragged for no really good reason.
I was always Team Britney, for the record.
And
Yeah.
to be fair, when you mentioned Crossroads, I totally thought of the Ralph Macchio movie,
You were
too.
thinking of the '80s movie.
I was, I was thinking Steve Vai.
Yeah. No, I meant this one. But so I say all this to say that Frogs is coming up next at the Balboa as the next 16 Millimurder. Now. I don't know if you've ever heard of Frogs. Frogs from the 70s.
The band?
It originally, it's got a young Sam Elliott and an old Ray Milland.
Wait. You're saying that Sam Elliott was young at some point?
No, it took us like 40 minutes for me and Harry to realize that it was Sam Elliott.
What is he? Oh,
because
we have a ghost.
We just picture him from like MAGA memes, just like sitting there in a hat being
What is a young Sam Elliott? Is that him?
He's the like... Here, where is he?
Does he have a mustache?
I don't think he's on the cover. This movie, here, hold on. He's that guy with the long hair, or he's down here
in the middle.
That guy. That's him.
Really?
I see it.
Can you even believe it?
No,
it's him.
I see.
Yeah.
I see it in the eyes.
Yeah. You'll recognize him because he is the same guy he always is. He's the man's man. He's the one who's like, he comes to a house full of. I'm not going to spoil the movie, although there's not much to spoil. But he is the man's man in a group of sissy dandy boys. That's his role in the movie. I think this movie deserves a competent MST3K treatment, and I mean that in the sense that it needs to be done with love.
So not Jonah Ray.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
I'm saying I think this could be a like super fun Millimurder, but it needs to be a crowd that actually knows how to like have fun at a movie like this. You know what I mean?
So this brings up a good conversation because I have a vendetta against the MSK people because
MST3K.
As you were.
I bet I know why.
Why?
Because they make fun of movies you guys actually like.
They butchered my baby.
Which is
Carnival Magic.
Oh yeah, on the most recent edition.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did they do? How did they butcher? Did they cut parts
They
out?
showed it.
Oh, you mean by ripping on it?
Yeah.
That movie made me sad, dude.
It's a wonderful movie.
The poor monkey. I mean, ape. The poor ape.
Yeah, but I mean, he almost committed suicide, but he didn't.
Listen, if you go watch an episode of MST3K,
He grabbed some titties on the way out.
I'm not going to tell you to like it because if you don't, that's fine. But if you go watch an episode like Merlin Shop of Mystical Wonders, which is an Ernest Borgnine movie about Merlin, and that episode had me dying. Or last night I watched Overdrawn at the Memory Bank, which is a Raul Julia Total Recall type movie from public television in the early 80s.
That sounds good.
Movies like that can't be watched in any other context, basically.
Now
I don't know. Just let me riff in my head.
Here's where I jump in. Now, I grew up, I think I'm the only one in this room that I was an only child for most of my life. Mm-hmm. And I was deathly bored and lonely. And I loved MST3K because I could sit there and it was like, oh, other people are watching this movie with me.
Oh, so you're a heretic. You used to love it.
But the thing was, now, when we were doing the Overlook thing and, we'd have people come over to review a movie, we did an MST3K one and it bombed.
Okay.
And it was mainly because we're in a room with other people who could make jokes, and you really don't need them at that point.
Right.
Now, to play my own devil's advocate, when we were watching The Room every month at the Clay, which I know the Balboa has.
Balboa's
now,
doing
right?
too. They just did a room showing actually on July 3rd. Yeah.
Okay, so I got to go to one of those. But when we were watching it all the time, you become so hip to the beat of the movie that MST3K did one, or actually it was the other group.
Riff Tracks. Yeah.
And they showed it in the theater, and we went to that, and I'll tell you, it let me watch the movie through different eyes, because they
Right.
were calling out things that I never noticed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's pretty valuable if you watch a movie 40 times drunk and you didn't notice that the TV was thrown out the window pre-broken.
Right. And they point stuff like Riff Tracks also is how I first watched High School Musical, and they did an incredible job of like breaking down why that was such like an empty movie that had nothing to say.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I think I used to say that I wanted basically what is now Riff Tracks to exist. I was like, I want the MST3K guys to do a treatment on new movies. And my friend Bob, who I'm going to see this summer, was like, no, part of the point is that you're watching these like unearthed B movies from the 70s and 80s. That some of them are unwatchable without the MST3K treatment, like Prince of Space or any of those. Clark, I get what you're saying, where it's like, give me a chance. When I found out like the early MST3K did the Gamera movies, I was like, some people really love the Gamera movies.
Yeah.
Like they even do, I think, a few Godzilla movies on MST3K. But I would say, remember that those guys, even if it's a movie that you have some respect for and they rip it to shreds, they've watched that movie like 15 times to get every joke, to like pull out.
No, I get it, and I respect those guys. It's just it's not really a format that I'm terribly interested in.
Well, also,
and then they shit on Carnival Magic.
The movie,
how dare you?
Carnival Magic, it can stand on its own merits, though. And I think what Nick is saying, if you're going to do like the Hand of Mantos or whatever,
Manos, the Hands of Fate,
that movie's boring.
Yeah,
and if you want to unearth a like public domain boring film, power to it. I'd love to see comics right over that.
Right.
But see, that's what I'm saying, is that they just lump all this together.
I know.
They're missing the nuance.
Well, also,
in Carnival Magic,
it does feel like punching down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You're beating
Yeah.
up on someone who did really terribly. However, maybe no one would have seen Carnival Magic. And Carnival Magic is now on Netflix. You ever think about that? Like, that movie is getting new eyes.
It's on Netflix?
Well, I mean, because it's on MST3K.
See, that's the problem I have with it, because it's packaged wrong.
Yeah, but it's on Netflix. People are seeing it.
No, my life's work, since I've watched Carnival Magic, my life's work has been to show Carnival Magic to the world, and Patton Oswalt is fucking it up for me.
Listen, let me tell you, I have a similar angst about how did this get made, and when they'll do movies on that podcast that I love, and they'll rip them apart, and it's like, who the fuck pays you assholes to talk about these movies? I get that. I get where that feeling is coming from. The basic headline of what I'm saying is the movie Frogs definitely deserves a competent MST3K treatment. So come to the Balboa on July 27th. I'll have to double check that date and see it. And if you're funny, you can make jokes, but be funny. That's what I'm saying. Like, have your jokes ready to go, maybe, or at least like know what you're saying. Anyway,
Nick,
that's what I'm saying.
Now, do you think this would work? And for Ep2, we had a guest, I won't name him, who came on this show. And a lot of the time when we're talking to people about their movie, at the end of the interview, we would cram in like kind of like an thing and talk about found footage. And one of them was like, oh, I made a found footage movie. I didn't want to, but they made me do it, and I don't like it. And for a while, we were throwing around the idea of like, what if we invited him, we like flew him out for Ep2, and we screened the movie, but we had microphones and just did a live, like, we did like a commentary over it.
I think that'd be excellent.
I know. And I'm like, one of the things that I've really tried.
Just get your jokes ready ahead of time.
Well, I wouldn't even try to be funny. It would be more like just playing off of him.
Oh, okay.
Or like, because, found footage movies.
I was anti this idea.
You were, I think you were weary because we hadn't run it by him. And I was like, dude, he does not like the film. And I wouldn't want to punch down as the other thing.
It was also, if I'm being completely transparent, I didn't want to do it because it was just more work for me. That's what it came down to.
That's what it really came down to. Yeah. You're a practical
Hey,
guy.
I get it.
If we could have outsourced it, I probably would have signed off on it.
I think it's a good idea. How long is the movie?
Oh, no,
90.
Found footage.
90, okay.
90 is a long found
That
footage
is.
movie.
Now, the longest that I have come across would be probably Noroi.
Yeah.
Oh,
2 hours.
Yeah,
That's Reddit too.
Yeah. That one's. I remember the first time I saw that movie. We had a crowd over when I was in college to watch it. We had multiple people leave in the middle, and then I had people be like, "Why the hell did you invite me over to watch that trash movie?" People couldn't be patient enough with that one.
Yeah.
I really like Noroi.
You
I
have
think
to. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's like it's a procedural. It's like
It's longer. I will admit. It's no Blair Witch. It's a long, slow movie.
It's the epic found footage film.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's the Gone with the Wind of found footage.
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia of found footage.
And God, that ending is just. Whew.
I figured it out, Nick. And over the past 2 episodes, I keep bringing up this thing I just read about where, a lot of people say the Blair Witch would have never worked if people didn't believe it was real.
Right.
But in Australia, it came out a year later, and everybody knew, and it blew the box office open. Like, people loved it.
Yeah.
And it's really about the negotiation of, are you willing to, like, really go for a ride with this movie?
I know.
And there are people you just know who won't buckle up for a found footage film.
The truth is they're scared. And I mean that literally. They're scared of the movie, and so they start being like, this is dumb, I'm not scared,
dude,
to make
Nick,
themselves feel better.
I've one of our reviewers for the Overlook, I straight up, like, he pissed me off. Well, we were at Insidious 3, am I right? He was doing this thing where, when tension's building, he would go, boo! and throw his arms up in the air.
Oh,
And I'm
shut the
just like,
fuck up.
shut the fuck up.
That would piss me off.
So after the film, he was like, oh, it wasn't bad. And I'm like, you were terrified.
Yeah.
You wouldn't shut up. You were like a child. And he went, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And it kind of broke my heart because I was being mean.
Who
but
did that?
I'm not going to name him.
Name him.
Let's dox him.
Randy will edit
Just like
this
the
out.
guy.
It'll be a test to
Just
Randy's editing.
just like the guy who robbed the Balboa. We're not going to dox anyone on the podcast. But
we should dox thieves, dude. That's rule 1 of doxing.
but what if I get one detail wrong and I get someone innocent hurt? You know, that's what I'm
Collateral
scared.
damage.
No, we'll film it. It'll be our found footage movie. We'll break in, and then when we don't find the ray gun,
That's what I'm so scared of is, you know, you hear with these internet justice stories that they say the wrong name and someone's like,
Oh, yeah.
someone gets like harassed into moving and they didn't do anything. But no, to say that my friend admitted to me that he did that exact same treatment for Paranormal Activity when it first came out. And he was like, I was just so scared. I just started making jokes, man. And I was like, that's what scared people do. They start ragging on, this isn't even scary. It's and also for me, you know, I do like a really good scary horror movie, but the point of a horror movie is that it's good.
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
don't care so much about being terrified and not able
Nah.
to sleep. I care about it being a good movie that I enjoy. To me, the best found footage movie happens to also be, to me, the scariest found footage movie, which is Lake Mungo. That's my absolute favorite, my number one. And I also
good.
think that whole movie is a Twin Peaks reference because her name's Palmer. She drowns.
Oh.
Image of her wrapped in plastic. There's the
Dead,
there's the secret
wrapped
there's
in
the
plastic.
there's the secret sex life. That's a good Jack Nance. you
Thank
got there.
what do the owls do in Twin Peaks?
They're not what they.
I
seem.
don't think we were recording yesterday when you said it, but I think you're like, like Twin Peaks. The owls are watching. Yeah. And Randy almost had a damn heart attack.
Of course, Randy loves Twin Peaks.
We could hear him in Oakland.
The owls are watching. That's like Asylum Films version of Twin Peaks. Welcome to Double Mountains.
Yeah, Double
the owls are
Mountains.
watching.
You just watched Lake Mungo too, right?
Probably 6 to 8 months ago.
I can't remember what your reaction
It's
to it was.
great.
Yeah, okay.
I really like
Great,
that one a
yeah.
lot.
Man, I went on like a binge. I watched like Lake Mungo and Sarah's Missing. And
That's the game. Megan is missing.
Megan
the
is
movie.
missing.
You watched
There we go.
Megan is Missing?
Megan is
That
Missing.
one's fucked up.
Whew.
Yeah, Michael
I was
Goy.
not prepared.
That one's a little exploitative.
And Bad Kitties.
Well, Michael Goy, we got to try and get him on the show. Write
been
that
telling
down.
you that
Oksana.
forever.
He was. I like to bring him up because he was the head of the Directors Guild at the time when he
Seriously?
made it. Yeah, and
he made Megan is Missing?
Yeah, and he's a good example for found footage fans to be like, it's not filmmakers trying to take advantage of being amateur and just trying to cash in. Like that guy used the format to be like diegetically like terrifying.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, I don't want to talk shit about someone who's going to be on the mic with you, but Megan is Missing.
Right. Michael Goy ain't gonna. He's TikTok famous now.
Okay. Well, then he's not. I'm not
No, he's
going
not gonna
to take him down. Mike, and I wish him all the luck in the world. Megan is Missing struck me as like a sort of bargain bin Larry Clark's Kids.
For sure.
You know, like
Yeah.
like that's the vibe. And I was like, this is made by someone who hasn't hung out with a teenager in 10 years. You know, like because all the like, oh, I'm going to a party. You got to suck my dick to get the alcohol. It's like you really
Yeah.
think teenagers are like that?
I know.
like,
That did bother me.
yeah,
Well,
right.
here's the thing. He's literally a dad who was reading a newspaper.
Yeah.
Right,
that
it's
was-
got dad energy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it. The
Yes,
whole thing.
yes.
Well, and the
It
thing was,
totally does.
he was angry that kids would go missing, and then next weekend nobody cared. So he really wanted to punish the audience by making a movie.
Well, honestly, because it sort of felt like a public service announcement
no,
to
yeah.
a certain
Sure.
degree.
Yeah.
Totally, 100%, and also like an indictment of bondage porn and an indictment of like let's blend the worst of everything into one. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, you're bringing an urban legend to life.
I mean, I'll admit it's disturbing.
Yeah.
It got under my skin. I still think about it, but I also think it's disturbing kind of in a cheap way. You know, it's sort of like getting some cheap
falls
shots.
into the Cannibal Holocaust problem, where it's like you've set out to warn everybody about a thing, so you made the thing.
Yeah, right.
And
right,
it's like,
right.
well, now you've made the thing. You're just your problem.
Oh, I
too.
hear what you're saying. You're saying like the Cannibal Holocaust, which is a movie when I initially saw it, I loved. One of my favorites.
I still love it.
I still like it a lot, but you're saying it's like it was about how you shouldn't exploit native tribes, and then it exploited native tribes.
Well, the whole thing is just like cinema that's using like real violence, or
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and it's
Isn't
like,
that what Charlotte's Net
well,
is too?
It's kind of an indictment of Mondo film.
Sure, exactly.
Except
Even though it invented the Mondo
Yeah,
film.
I'm like, but dude, you've made it popular.
And it's got a sweet ass score.
Oh my god, that's the best part of the whole movie.
Fuck yeah.
I listen to that theme once a week.
It's great.
Did you ever watch the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I also watched all the knockoffs: Cannibal Ferox, Cannibal Apocalypse.
See, I haven't done the knockoffs.
Mondo Cane, Women of the World.
Didn't Ferox get a Criterion release?
No.
When you see something like Ferox,
I think it did.
you just feel sorry for the animals that had to die for that movie to exist.
Randy just rolled over in his grave when you said Ferox got a Criterion
Ferox,
release.
Umberto Lenzi.
Something weird.
Don't you share a birthday
got
with
Grindhouse.
Ruggero Deodato?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I remember everything. I never forget a thing.
I got
and
Fred
Johnny
Durst.
Dude, fuck Fred Durst.
While we're still on the you got Fred Durst?
I got Fred Durst, Robert Plant, and Andrew Garfield.
I think I only have Herman Hesse.
I got
That's who I share.
Deodato and Johnny Unitas.
I've got who's the pop star who tried to kill herself and went on Joe Rogan?
Miley Cyrus.
No, the other one.
I wouldn't know.
Cyndi Lauper.
No, the one who.
Demi?
Oh, Demi Lovato?
Yeah, I got Demi Lovato.
Oh, she went on Rogan?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, poor her.
I imagine she's a boring interview.
Yeah,
I mean, Miley, he's just like, well, it's a crazy voice you got there.
I think it's cool that you're. I think it's cool that you're on a found footage rediscovery kick, though. Did you watch the Unfriended movies? Those are some of my.
Oh, yeah, I love all those.
Dude, the Unfriended. Genuinely, I watched it in the middle of quarantine, and I was like, this movie is ahead of its time because it's a Zoom horror. It's a Skype, but it's a Zoom horror movie.
Nah.
Unfriended is incredible.
Love it. It's the better Megan is Missing.
Dark Web.
I didn't actually see Dark Web. I've only seen the first one.
You know what's funny? Unfriended with Megan is Missing. The thing that kind of like kneecaps Unfriended is it goes paranormal.
Yeah.
Like that's really where a
hear
lot
what
of
you're
the
saying.
critics kind of try to shit on
And
it.
Dark Web isn't, right?
No.
Even though it's like
And
it's-
people shit on it for that.
Right, but okay.
It's a lose-lose. You can't win with that. I love
don't-
them both.
I don't care. I'm a slasher guy. You know that.
Yeah.
But I don't usually seek out ghost movies. I'm not a big fan of all the Conjurings. But Unfriended was one of my favorite ghost movies. Like the first one.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I mean, it's an MTV movie, so it's a little
Yeah.
exaggerated, but they did teenagers pretty well. Like I actually would say Unfriended is fairly accurate.
When
Like
you-
they got
dude,
teenagers pretty well.
They opened it with Live Leak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's real.
Yeah.
Because I'll be at work. I mean, I'm sure everybody. I don't know about you. You work in schools.
Sure.
You have a coworker come up to you and like, hey, check this out, and you watch a person die.
Back in my warehouse days.
Yeah,
I
and you're
remember-
like, what the
As
fuck
a
is
reminder,
that?
my 10th grade math teacher showed me.
Sorry, I keep blowing out the mic.
No, you're good. I'm watching it.
Clark's making me laugh. But you told us this. I heard. No, you didn't tell me this. I heard this on the Charlotte's Net. He showed you what was it? ISIS beheading? Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Was he like a reactionary who was trying to like get you all to join the army or
He's
something?
still an educator today.
Go. What's his name?
We've already had to redact it.
There, we've.
So we're not doing any doxing. But can I
He
just
had
ask?
a good name.
What
though.
was his angle? Like, what was he trying to?
I don't know.
Was he trying to get you guys to like rally against
And
ISIS?
it genuinely fucked me up.
I mean, of course.
I hadn't seen anything remotely like that, and the fact that it was real. Now, the best thing about it was that it was pretty pixelated,
Thank God.
Oh, that makes it scarier.
but yeah, because then
It
that
feels
gets
real.
stuck in your mind.
It feels like it shouldn't be on TV.
'Cause that was
Also,
like-
can you pull up the Gallows trailer while we're talking?
Yes.
I just want to show Nick. Okay.
I don't know. I just didn't imagine that a head would fall off that way,
Yeah.
and that blood would look like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Russ said about the shooting in Charlotte's Net, where it's like, oh, it looks exactly like Scanners, where it's like all the things
That was terrifying.
all the things
though.
you think would be more.
Oh, it's.
Well, no.
But there was a video that a couple years ago that was a live leak thing that went around, and unfortunately, I watched that as well, unknowingly when I was watching. And it was a guy who got shot in the head in a car. They didn't think the gun was loaded, and they shot him.
Oh,
he
Tiger
lived.
King. It was Tiger King.
This guy lived. He got shot in the
Are you
head.
talking about Tiger King?
Yeah.
The part where you just see the guy's
wasn't Tiger King.
Was it where you just see the guy's face and he does like this and he's like the whole time.
It wasn't Tiger.
That was a
wasn't
great
Tiger-
shot,
yeah,
by the way.
my God.
Found footage movie would be perfect.
but it was just. Ugh.
Well, in Charlotte's Net, there is. I think I described him as kind of like your traditional hipster live streamer, and yeah, that was Scanners. like through and through.
I remember when that video was going around and people were like, watch out, because this is going to be the suicide video that sneaks up at you. There was another one recently on TikTok where a woman was getting beheaded. They do these like shock videos that they sneak into these apps. You know what I mean?
Now TikTok, is there some sort of governance on this thing, or is it Wild West?
I think there was, okay, so right now they're trying to adjust because there were some problems. Right now, I'd say it's still in the Wild West.
I heard it's a lot of pedophile stuff,
There
right?
definitely is that element, as there is on YouTube, as there is on a lot of those things.
Sure.
Once it learns who you are, it gradually, like, now all I get is like food content, dance contests, and I just started putting up some TikToks of like movie recommendations and stuff. So if it learns you,
I don't want to do it.
But it starts.
I don't want to do it.
It'll know you're a man, and it'll start you off with nothing but twerk videos, and then you'll scroll that for a few months, and gradually it'll learn.
But see, it's going to be like my Instagram, where it's just hamburgers and race cars.
Yeah. Okay.
Russell's Instagram
And chubby girls.
suggestions is all girls like shaking their boobs.
That's mine
or,
too.
like,
Yeah.
It's mine too.
I'm
jumping
like, what
around.
the fuck? Mine is, it's like girls trying to shake their tits and then dudes like curling barbells.
Yeah. So
And I'm like, what the fuck?
So Instagram's algorithm is garbage, and they're like, you're a man, I don't know, boobs, and they'll just throw that at you, and then TikTok, it'll start you with nothing but twerking. It'll be like, you're a man, you like twerking, right? And then gradually it'll be like, do you like movies too? Do you also like recipes? We'll work that in, and it'll start to like give you other content. And now it knows who I am exactly. Like I'll mention something, and it'll be like, thinking about going to Hawaii? We've got a TikTok for you.
Isn't that scary though?
Yeah, it learned me, but we're all learning to love Big Brother. Right?
Do you know how much merchandise I have purchased over Instagram ads?
Yeah, I mean, me
It's
too.
a lot. They gets me.
Okay, what's up with the Gallows?
No, I wanted to pull this up because when the Gallows first was coming out, I was pumped.
This is right
And
when I started substitute teaching.
It's because of the trailer. And this trailer, they, like, again, I know you're a huge slasher fan, and that genre really needs some, like, we need to, like, give it some life.
Yeah.
And I thought this movie was going to be like a paranormal slasher film.
Right.
And I just wanted to make everybody look at the dude coming down the hall. Like they do the cool in-camera trick where we have a light on the left that's trying to pull your eye.
I vaguely remember this trailer.
Okay, then I don't want to ruin it. Now check that out.
Okay. So there's a girl on the floor crying. There's a giant,
check it out.
tall figure looming in the right.
Well, he's got I'm moving across the ground like I'm not walking, going.
And there's a noose.
And that little bit captured my imagination.
So.
And then I went and I watched the movie and I was fucking angry. This is great too.
That's freaking scary, actually. But can I ask you a question? Is this the movie with Charlie? Are you here?
Is it Charlie?
Yeah. Okay. Because let me tell you a story. I try to be a skeptic. I don't believe in anything. But I'll cast the occasional spell. But when this movie came out, all the kids, and this was like right when I began substitute teaching, all the kids at the 3 schools I would sub at were doing this thing where they would make a CC no cross section.
Yeah.
So it was like yes, yes, no, no, but in Spanish. And they would stack 2 pencils on top of each other, and they would go, Charlie, are you here? And the pencil was supposed to move and say yes. So I got so annoyed with the kids doing this all day because I would be trying to teach, and there would be like multiple kids at multiple tables doing this, that at one point I was like, you know what? Let's just all do it together and get it over with, okay? And half the kids left the room because they're like, hell no. But then the other half stayed in the room, and I was like, you can stay in the hallway if you don't want to do this. And we all held hands, and we and we made one, and we put it in the middle because I'm like, I'm going to prove to you all that this is garbage.
And here's why you're going to a new school.
This was at the begining of my teaching career. This actually got me. The kids were like, "Oh, Nick will pause class to do a séance." That's kind of cool. But so I was like, "Let's all do it. Let's all hold hands." We went, and we all in unison go, "Charlie, are you here?" Pencil skews to yes, and I felt my heart drop. For 1 second, I was like, "It's real. It's all real. There really is a ghost."
I have a short to show you too that I fought to show at the pre-show at Ep256.
What's it called?
Charlie.
Is it tie into the Gallows?
No.
It's like follow up from that whole affair.
Do you remember it?
For the record, the reason why we did not show it is because we had already locked programming.
Also, I don't like this, how both of you were like, I had to fight to show something. We're a team over here. Can we at least pretend?
No, that was the one thing and that was because I don't know.
Okay, your mic's off. This is
By the way,
why
I
we
didn't
have
have to
keep your
fight
mic
for
up.
Space Clown.
No.
Y'all just
the
gave
one
me
that you
Space
said
Clown.
you had to fight for was fraud.
I did have to fight for Frogs. Started listening
I'm
for 2
turn
years.
turn your mic off.
I didn't see that one.
Don't worry. It's
Let me tell you a funny
we
story.
tried to keep him like.
Well, we got the filmmaker coming on. So.
There's no smooth transition to this, but I'm seeing an audition on your wall as well, and I wanted to tell this story. This was my favorite memory from 16 Millimurder. Once again, by the way, everyone, 16 Millimurder at the Balboa. It's one Wednesday a month. We're hopefully going to have a few extras in October. Right before COVID, the very last thing I saw in theaters. And in fact, it was the last special screening that the Balboa Theatre did before they shuttered for 400 days, more than a year, which was really sad for all of us. Harry showed Audition on 16 millimeter. Now, nowadays, I think it's a good idea when you're teaching, for example, to go ahead and, hey kids, this book we're about to read, or this movie I'm about to show you, contains some disturbing content. If you feel too scared, you can leave the room. I'd rather you leave the room than your parents call me later, However, I said to Harry, like a jerk, I said to do the thing I did to my friend Bob years ago, which is I said, this movie doesn't really get gnarly till about the midway point. So maybe there's some people here who don't know. Let's just do it as a joke. Tell them it's a romantic comedy. And so, and I mean, most people there must have already known what Audition was.
Yeah.
But Harry went up front and he's like, hey, everyone, thanks for coming out for one of my favorite Japanese romantic comedies. And the crowd sort of chuckled. And he's like, I hope you really enjoy. This is a movie about a man whose wife dies, but he learns to find love again. And I hope you enjoy Audition. And he left. So the movie's showing. First thing that happened is this guy in the front seemed to be a little, a few cards short of a deck or whatever.
He was grunting, or what was he?
He was not all there. He was having a bit of an episode, and he started to make noises in the middle of the movie, and then seemingly was talking on his phone. Harry came in, and it was a since it was 16 millimeter, it was a 2-reel movie, so we had to have an audition to switch the reels. So Harry comes in and he's like, "Yo, bro, I don't know what you're doing, but you have to. If you're gonna be on the phone, you got to get out." The guy leaves. And he's like, this movie's crazy, man. And Harry's like, yeah, if you can't handle it, just leave. Don't be here for it. So we have an audition. The guy's outside. I'm like, he's not going to come back.
Intermission?
Because they're switching the reels in the audition intermission. Right. Yeah. And so, but then I'm like, oh, good, he left. But then as we're going back into the show, I'm like, oh, no, because I see the guy coming back in. And Harry's not the kind of guy to give someone a hard time. If they want to try to come back in, he'll let him. So guy comes back in right when the movie goes into, spoiler alert for Audition, into the torture sequence that sort of crowns it. The guy literally stood up and goes, all right, see ya, and just walked out, which was good. He's like, I'm monitoring his own mental health, and he's like, I'm out of here. I can't do this. But the best part was there was a couple there, because Harry at the beginning of the screening had said, how many of you have seen this movie? And like half of the people raised their hand, including me, and the other half hadn't, and a lot of them were on dates where someone had brought them to Audition, was like, ooh, I'll take you to see Audition, this is one of my favorites, if you can handle this, we're cool. And
I get it.
And there was plenty of
not
those.
a first date, but
I don't know which date it was, but anyway, this bickering starts between this man and this woman. This like, I can't wait to fucking, what you taking me, this fucking sick piece of shit. And you hear this in the background, and the guy's like, it's good, just give it a chance. It's like very stylized movie. No, this is a fucking disgusting, sick piece of shit. Why would you take me to this? And then, so they're arguing, basically the woman is upset because the movie's upsetting, and the guy is like, come on, give it a chance. And in front of her, this guy goes, if you don't like the movie, just leave. And she goes, you know what, I will leave. And she stands up and storms out. And then there's about, a minute or two, and then the guy goes, sorry, everybody. And he follows after her. And I was like, I think that just ruined a relationship, this movie. Long story short.
They didn't deserve each other.
No. And seeing Audition again in theaters, I used to show this movie sort of as a joke when I was a teenager to scare people. Yeah. Watching it again as an adult, it's a fucking masterpiece.
It's beautiful film. It's
amazingly made. And soon after seeing it at that screening, COVID hit. I got the book, Ryo Murakami, and Ryo Fukui is the jazz guy.
Yeah, get it right.
Yeah, Ryo Murakami. Ryo Murakami, whose books you can really only find at Kinokuniya in Japantown. I read the original book. It's also one of those few cases where I would say the movie's better than the book. The book is just a pulp crime story, and the movie is like an elevated, surreal kind of. It's like the Shining treatment, where it took sort of a simple story and made it stylized in a way.
Yeah.
So I love it. I hope Audition comes back to Millimurder. There's no plan for it now, but that was one of the best Millimurder showings we ever had. Oh. It was fantastic.
Now, what did he do during the phone scene with the bag? Is that when he left?
No, it was the foot cutting and or it was the eyeball needles. Kitty. And you know what? I early on in my relationship, I don't do this anymore. We've been together a decade, but early on in my relationship with my wife, I was like, when she wasn't my wife, when she was some girl. I was like, hey, let's watch let's watch a Serbian film, and let's just see how you hang, that kind of thing. And so that's probably what that guy was doing. He's like, I'm gonna take you to see Audition. We'll see how this goes.
Did you show her Serbian?
No, we never got around to that one. We watched some other more disturbing ones. I couldn't get a copy of the uncut version. It was hard to come by at that point. That was 2012.
I think we have like 9.
I think we do. I have it on VHS.
Yeah.
There's a dude that DMs us all the time trying to buy it.
Oh.
And I'm like, you're creeping me out.
Dude, it was really hard to find. Nowadays, you mostly can find a cut version and then watch all the cut scenes in a separate YouTube video.
Oh, yeah. The VHS, I think Stephen Byro only made 5 of them at that event we went to.
Yeah.
Where you took the best
we went
picture
to a
of your
Serbian
life.
film event. These are the
maybe
choices
they would show.
we've made.
Maybe they would show Charlotte's Net. Maybe contact James.
No, for sure. And the problem with Serbian film is when you watch it with the filmmakers, it really neuters that movie. Like, it's not edgy at all by the end of it.
So I think movies like a Serbian film or August Underground are so disturbing that they numb you at a certain point.
Yeah.
And I think the movies that really get under my I know this is one of your favorite movies, Russ. A movie that like August Underground. By the end of watching those, I was like, I don't feel anything anymore. I'm just numb. Serbian film is more like a Greek tragedy. I think that movie is actually great. But the movies that get under my skin are ones where there will be like 1 or 2 scenes of extreme violence, like
because they're haunting.
Dragged Across Concrete, man.
Okay,
that movie
now you're
still
talking.
really gets under my skin.
Look how happy you made him.
I mean, that movie.
You know I like my Zoller.
That movie, I still think about that movie, and I still feel disturbed, just like I'm remembering scenes from that movie.
I'll tell you, my first viewing of it, I didn't love it.
I turned it off because I was offended at like the hour mark, and then turned it back on a day
bank
later.
scene?
No, when the cops, I was like, "Is this a pro-police brutality movie?"
Oh yeah,
For
yeah. The bank scene.
No, that is where it began to get like, holy shit. Yeah.
Because there's good, bad, and then I'm not going to finish it
because that was like, what are we doing right now?
Or all the shit. I mean, it's hard for me to even think about all the shit after the bank with the hostage that they take. It's just like, this is so cruel. This movie's like mean.
I've watched it 3 more times.
I own it, so I should watch it again.
And I'm more on board. But now, what is your take on like Human Centipede?
I would here. I'll give you my exact ranking on that. Okay, so
I'm excited.
on a out of 10 scale, and I don't give 10s because there's no such thing. So a 9 is the best a movie can be.
Okay.
I would say Human Centipede 1 is like a 4. Human Centipede 2 is like a 6.5. It's pretty good. I actually think the second one is the best one. It's so over the top. It's so crazy. And then Human Centipede 3 is like a 0. I freaking hate it.
Okay.
So that's my take, and I'm sorry if you disagree.
Human Centipede 3 is a masterpiece.
Okay.
Out of 9, it's an 11. Because it's 9/11 of movies.
Dude, the second one.
The second one?
The black and white.
Dare I say almost beautiful.
It's amazing. The second one really did something there.
I'm a real big fan of the second one. 3 is fun.
No.
I love 3.
3 is where you start to get into like, you're very clearly watching a movie made by a European using American cultural signifiers. He's like, I'm going to cast a porn star.
Yep.
I'm going to have a waterboarding sequence.
Yep.
I'm going to make a commentary-ish on like the American prison system. It's basically watching a porno. I mean, in a weird sort of... I feel like Human Centipede 1 was already based on someone's fetish a little bit. Human Centipede 2 was doing something filmic. Like, it was doing something that I felt was actually like of cinematic value.
And 3's taking a shit on all of it.
3 is jack-off material for weirdos.
We're circling the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
And the first one had an idea that offended... I ultimately think 1 is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like, the advertisement was the best part for me. But then 2 is kind of like, wow, they've become like introspective and they've realized what they've done and they're making a commentary on it.
Exactly.
But then the third one is like, I know it's almost like a broken clock.
Right.
Like it hit one time and then it's like, but now we've imploded and we're in a new dimension and we're breaking the fourth wall. We're bringing the director in. We're shitting on him. Like,
so it seemed to me incorrect because I saw the first one. It was a curiosity at best. It also was like frustrating because, I mean, this is a dumb thing to get frustrated about with horror movies, but it did frustrate me, which is like, why did they not double tap when they were escaping? You know, like for real. Like you guys want to get out of here? Fucking stick the scalpel in his neck.
It's not great.
Yeah,
it's not great.
And it was disturbing in ways that were new. So I was like, okay, I guess this is of interest. The second one, I was like, oh wow, we're going in an interesting direction now. Like we're about to go. And I thought the third one would be like pure minimalism, like no dialogue, existing in like a Lynchian surreal scape of hell. Like I thought it would be more like a who's the guy who made the goddamn Geiger? I thought it would be more like a Geiger movie. Like we would go into full just cinema pure, you know?
Yeah.
And instead it was, I think, like a porno, like basically, like where it was so exploitative. I think someone masturbates to Human Centipede 3. Someone in the world.
You know, I think there would have been fanfare, and this is what I always preached, if Dennis Hopper were in it, where that kind of like cinema insanity.
I think he was dead by then.
I know, but I mean, you replace him as the warden,
right.
and that's a movie people are screening in independent theaters.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
maybe it should have also been in black and white or been animated. I
don't know. I mean, dude, they brought back characters from every movie.
That's true.
Casted them against the film. Then we're watching the movie in the film. Brought the director in to make a movie about the prison. But then also elaborated, made the human caterpillar, or what the fuck was that thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, he killed a guy, brought him back to life, and killed him again.
Yep, I remember that.
No, it's bonkers. It's mad. It's like it's fucking Jodorowsky's Human Centipede.
It's not.
He looks. Look at him. He looks like a turtle that came out of his shell.
I would maybe say it was like John Waters' Human Centipede. Okay, like and I like John Waters. I'm not saying John Waters did.
Yeah.
It's or you know who's like a director I fucking hate. I can't think of one. But
well, it's part like hack camp and part like brilliant art house.
Yeah.
But it's in the middle and nobody can appreciate it.
I don't like it. I like this. I like the second one. I like the second one.
Second one's great.
The second one is wonderful.
Third is a masterpiece.
Third is.
Do you like 3/2?
There. I mean, you know, we're talking apples and oranges.
Or
2, 3, 1.
just being contrarian.
I in terms of rewatchability, 3/2.
Well, yeah. You don't like the baby popping out in the car at the end of 2? I feel like that's got you written all over it.
That's what I always think of.
I know.
That's what I always think of.
That's a hoot.
That is just like, oh my freaking God. Not to mention, but my favorite sequences from 2 are not just the Human Centipede stuff. When he comes home and his mom is stabbing what she thinks is him in bed, and he just kind of like casually gets back into bed. That stuff is, the guy gives it feels like a Udo Kier performance. You know what I mean?
Oh,
the guy gives
yeah.
such a brooding, thoughtful performance in Human Centipede 2. It's fantastic.
Now, here's what I can't decide on. Would it be more brutal in color?
No. I think that maybe, but it wouldn't work as well. I think that the black and white made it the mood piece that it was. And I think that what it was showing was like a descent into style. The first one felt like an episode of Law and Order. The second one felt like more of like a stylized film. And I thought the third one should have gone like full Stan Brakhage and been like or David Lynch and been like more of an Eraserhead vibe, you know, and gone deeper into it. But that's my affectations, and I know that's more of a Randy taste.
How would Stan Brackett's Human Centipede work? I would sign up for that.
Right? I think it would just be images.
Randy couldn't hang with these films. There's no way.
It would be a series of images sort of strung together, you know?
Yeah. We, God, was that during UF?
What?
When it was, the girls had gone out to go get probably alcohol. And it was you, me, and Randy. We were at the house, and you had turned on Stan Brakhage. And then we were just like, let's just stare at the screen. And not acknowledge them at all.
We freaked out marbles.
Oh, and acted like you've been king and yellowed, basically.
Yeah. All the lights were off. We had the projector
like
on.
Ringu.
We had it really loud, and I said, "Don't answer them." And they came in and were talking to us, and Madeline started freaking out. That's a good one.
That's a good prank. I actually like that a lot. I'm gonna pull that chestnut out this October. That's a good one. You basically are doing like a Polybius kind of thing. With a movie. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
I really liked your idea, by the way. The Medusa thing. Yeah. I don't know how I never.
Right? Isn't that a smart idea?
Almost wish you didn't say it on here. We could have done.
We could still do it. I mean, there's plenty of people. We could still bring it out. I'm bringing this up here now so that if anyone steals the full idea, it's on record that was my idea originally. It sort of is inspired by I think in John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns, he talked about how the actual film they show is a real angel getting its wings cut off.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, oh well, the obvious thing to do is have Medusa head turns people to stone, because I think Medusa is the original mad masterpiece. Like you look at it and you die or you go crazy. And also Infinite Jest, which, oh God, am I going to spoil Infinite Jest, the 1,000-page book that everyone feels like they should read one day? You should.
Dude.
It's a good book, but I'm going to spoil it. Spoilers for Infinite Jest. You should still read the book. at the end of that, they reveal that the movie that makes everyone go crazy is a baby's perspective of a mother apologizing. And that's the movie that'll make people in such a rapture that they will watch it until they die because everyone wants their mom to say sorry, basically. Pretty conceptual.
I gotta wrap my head around that.
Yeah, right. Pretty deep and conceptual.
It just reminded me of the Opie and Anthony thing I showed you years ago about the abortion, about the aborted fetus that was telling the story about being aborted.
Oh my god, that reminded you of that?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen The Suckling?
No, but I know.
You know what this
Yes.
is. It's
We watched that on my last birthday.
that was the movie you chose for your birthday? I genuinely thought it was a good movie.
Me too.
Genuinely,
I'm there with you.
unironically good. You know,
I liked it.
The idea of the aborted fetus comes back for revenge and a membrane grows around the house. I thought it was great. They ragged on that movie on Red Letter Media, and that was when I had sort of the MST3K angst, where I was like, "Come on, guys, it's good. It's a cool concept, you know."
But if when you break down the plot, people asked me at work what I did for, I was like, well, let's watch the movie. I didn't try to explain to them oh, it's funny, an aborted fetus.
You know, would be a great double feature is 5 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, and then The Suckling right afterwards.
I don't know that
I haven't
first
seen
one.
That was a
Personally,
deep cut joke. Randy just laughed if he was listening to
Okay.
this. That's a very serious movie.
I would have went Red Christmas.
Red Christmas.
Yeah. Have you watched that?
No.
Got him, Clark.
Watch the
High five.
documentary about Red Christmas.
Watch the documentary about Red Christmas.
Yeah, what's the documentary called?
Horror movie, a low budget nightmare.
Oh, similar.
Yes.
It's a rescued fetus type of movie. But yeah. So anyway, so those are all those movies.
Now, Clark, just because you run the show and you have no idea this, or
How long have we been going?
we're 120. But
Okay.
before we cut him loose, I'm just curious as a newly
Love it.
I've returned to the fandom of Tarantino. I don't know if I would have ever called myself a fan, but recently I do now.
Sure.
And I'm curious
Thanks to Joe Rogan.
if you had purchased his book and or planning to read it.
I heard about it, but no, I have not read it or bought it.
No, it's been so long since we ran into you. Did you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh my God, bro! Did I watch it? Yes. I came back from my. Sorry, I don't mean to tell a whole story.
No, go for
but
it.
I came back from my honeymoon / mini moon. I was supposed to have a honeymoon this last summer. Didn't have it. Oh. Clark just dropped this book, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a novel by Quentin Tarantino.
Look at it, says little
Did he
dime
write
store.
this?
Yeah, he wrote it.
I love this. Oh my God!
So the first pressing was like this dime store.
I gotta read this, man.
Hasn't done the hardback yet.
Okay, so I got married up in Mendocino, and then my wife and I went on a mini moon along the Mendocino coast for a week, where we went to all these beautiful hotels along the Mendocino coast, had this wonderful time. As we're driving down Highway 1, real casual, let's take the scenic route home. My brother calls, and he's like, "Are you guys coming back into town today?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're actually on our way back now." He said, "We're about to show Once Upon a Time in Hollywood premiering. We're about to show the first screening at the Balboa in film on 3 reels. Do you want to come?" And I was like, we'd already decided to take the scenic route, and we were way out on Highway 1. I was like, we're going to try. And so we start going. And by the way, if you take the scenic route, it is the scenic route. It really just curves and curves and curves. We actually made it within about 5 seconds to the Balboa. We actually had to stop at home, unload everything from our wedding, and then book it to the Balboa. So I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a state of absolute bliss because I was coming straight off my honeymoon, and I was like, this is the best Quentin Tarantino movie I've ever seen. This has got to be his best movie. And I remember thinking that. I also loved how there were 2 intermissions, so I could talk the whole time and be like,
Oh,
really
that's
getting
cool.
really getting nervous for Sharon Tate here. Things are not looking good. And then when things played out the way they played out, I was like, well, that's nice, isn't
Yeah.
that? And at the end, it was like a very optimistic movie. I was like, how pleasant. And then went across the street, got drinks, ran into some friends from college. And I was like, this is so great. A few days later, because I had gotten as a wedding present. God, I hope no one I work with hears this.
They won't. I promise you.
I doubt they will. As a wedding present, I had gotten a bag of shrooms and for me and the wife to use. And we had already taken some and gone to the botanical gardens and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm on summer break, and I want to be on Brad Pitt's level at the end of the movie. And so, he has his little LSD apotheosis moment there where he's like, are you guys real? And that whole thing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to be on his level at that moment. So I went.
Something dumber than that.
So I walked down to. This is after I was like, I want to see also if it's as good as I remember it, because the first time I saw it, I was like, that's the best Quentin Tarantino movie ever made by far, and I want to give it a second shot because I was in a really good mood that day. So we'll see, So I go down to the the Kabuki, which had actually gotten a little lamer because it had just been bought by AMC and it wasn't as cool as it used to be. No offense to the Kabuki, but the bar was closed.
They can take the hit. I'm not a fan.
I wanted to down my shrooms with some beer. They didn't even open the bar till the middle of the movie. Anyway, so I eat them at the beginning of the movie. By the time Brad Pitt is tripping on acid, I'm tripping, and I was like, "This is perfect." And then, and I walked out. I walked out still feeling like that was the best Quentin Tarantino movie. And then I was still tripping, so I walked home all the way from Japantown. Like, I gotta wear this thing down, you know. But
now, 2 weeks ago, I think I covered a movie, Gaia, on here, and I had taken an edible that edibles, they're Russian roulette. You never know when they're gonna hit,
for real.
And that thing hit me hard during that movie, and I remember feeling handicapped as like an audience member, and I was like, I kind of feel at the mercy of the movie. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's enhancing or kind of like hindering?
I think it depends what movie you're seeing, and I think that you should watch a movie for the second time if you're going to take serious. Okay, smoking weed or eating weed, if it's not a huge dose, I would do it for any movie. I'm usually smoking weed if I'm watching a movie, pretty much all the time. However, taking like acid or shrooms, make it your second time seeing that movie. Don't like see, I think this movie would be good in a trippy context. Don't watch a movie for the first time. You know, that's what I say. For a heavy edible, I never take edibles because I get that knockout effect where I'm like, I'm lost. Like, I don't know what's going on. You know, I can't follow any of this. I don't know what's up. I remember taking a heavy edible to see The Color Out of Space and just being like, holy crap. When they got to the like mother-son combo, I was like, I don't know if I was ready for this. Like, you know.
Now, I did too, and that movie's still kind of like a vague memory for me.
Yeah.
And I've done it twice. What was the Ty West Western movie?
Never saw it, but it was called...
I own it. I mean...
Oh, was it with the Burrowers? No.
What the hell? Oksana, look it up. Ty West, he did a Western. It had Ethan Hawke, right, was the lead?
Yeah.
I always forget the name.
I can't remember. In the Valley of Violence.
In the Valley of Violence.
Oh, there
and
it is.
I don't remember it. I watched it. I was awake. I interacted. But it kind of like, it washes over me in a way that my brain just won't retain it.
But you know what? Sometimes a movie washing over you is okay if it's that kind of movie. Now, if you're watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I feel like you shouldn't just let it wash over. You should enjoy it. It's a movie you should watch. However, a movie like Saint Maud is actually more of a mood piece where you can kind of just let Saint Maud kind of fill your vibe.
For sure.
You know, like Saint Maud just sort of happens.
So I can be all gummed up for Saint Maud?
You should be. You should be for Saint Maud. I would call it a mindfulness movie. It's one of those movies where you're kind of just like watching a brain decay.
You know, I only took mushrooms really one time. And I watched movies, and I did Akira.
That's a good one.
And I did Heavy Metal.
That's perfect.
And I did, it was all animated.
Perfect.
And, you know, the room I was in at the time is a lot like this, where we had shit all over the walls. And I had a bunch of anaglyphic 3D glasses, and I just wore them the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Dude, it was great.
Dude, I think I know we got Clark to watch Heavy Metal and it was a little too horny for him. But
it was pretty horny.
It's horny.
It's for young boys. That's the whole audience.
I was in high school. It reeled me in.
That's where I got it. But you've got the right idea. You want to be watching like lush visual, you know, anything by Ralph Bakshi is a good bet. Yeah. You know, I recently watched, by the way, another Balboa plug. They're doing Anna Monday, which is on one Monday a month. They show either an anime or an animated film. I had never seen American Pop, and I went to see it.
Oh, dude, I think that's in a theater.
I think that's gotta be, and I really love Coonskin, and I really love The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
but I think that's gotta be his masterpiece.
American Pop is beautiful.
I think that's gotta be his best movie.
I got you to watch that, right?
No,
it's like the history of
we should watch American Pop.
History of music through animation.
No, it's a music movie.
Clark, I promise.
You dig it.
This one is more up your alley, man.
A dude plays like a piano during war.
Yeah, it's
very like.
It's also
one
of
like
those,
both of those things.
I know.
It's also one of those movies where I could not. I usually at the Balboa, I'm usually seeing movies I've already seen. In this case, I wasn't, but I usually take a few bathroom breaks to also get another beer. And this was one movie where I didn't take a single break because there was no break, because it is a seamless movie. Like it is one of those movies where it just starts and then it's just one smooth motion through history. Like there's no moment where you want to disengage from it.
Who programmed that?
It was Ryan, who does the Anna Monday.
Have I met
Just
Ryan?
another Anna Monday.
I'm trying to get them to do End of Evangelion because I just rewatched the Neon Genesis Evangelion and I really want to watch the End of Evangelion. Sorry,
Is that like an OMV or is that a feature?
So it was it's a feature because everyone was so mad about the ending of the series that they made an alt ending movie, which is excellent. But they're both good. I like
Nick,
them both.
I too, for like years ago, I really wanted to do like anime in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great.
Because I'm like, dude, people need to bring like their visual intellect of the art form to anime. It's huge.
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to programmers about it, and really the problem is they do all TV shows, and you'd have to pay for each episode, and it's long. But I mean, dude, Perfect Blue and like all this Satoshi Kon shit has been playing out here a lot. And man, I'm jealous, dude. The Balboa's doing all the cool shit.
Yeah. Here, let me...
I hear they play a lot of anime in Guantanamo.
God. let me just read off what the program is for Millimurder so I don't forget to. 27th, Frogs is coming out. Or should I wait for the end?
No, go for it.
No, I'll do this right now.
Yes.
So Frogs on the 27th. I think this movie, it's basically a ripoff of The Birds, but with frogs instead. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The funny interpretation that I encourage you to approach this movie with is Harry and I watched this movie from a very Marxist angle where it's about how rich people are completely incapable of existing in the wild. Because
rad.
every death is just a rich person's incompetence. And I encourage you to watch it in that context. Carrie's on August 24th. I saw Carrie at Millimurder before. It's a great show. A lot of people haven't seen the original Carrie, and I would argue that Carrie is, without us really realizing it, sort of created the obsession with teenagerhood that we saw in the 80s. Stephen King's first book, one of Brian De Palma's first big hits, and Carrie really like sent the slasher movie in the direction it went. Now, of course, Harry and I, we like the more obscure stuff, but for Millimurder, we're trying to walk that line between like people will show up and we can get this on film. Sure. You know what I mean? So that's a line to walk. Carrie is always a crowd pleaser, and if you haven't seen it, you got to. Now, one of the few movies on the program I have not seen, and Harry picked it, and I'm going to go see it for the first time on the big screen, is The Children. Not the British one from more recently, but The Children from I think it's from the 70s, not the 2008 one, which is also a good movie, 1980. This is a similar plot, though. It's... you know what? It's radioactive, fear of the Cold War, evil children movie. If you go on August 31st, I will be there. I will see it too. So if you want to see me, I'll be there. And then in the 28th, we're going to get believe it or not, Richmond is a neighborhood with a lot of retirees, and they got to come out for nostalgia picks too sometimes. So on the 28th, it's The Blob, the original Steve McQueen Blob.
Oh. Great theme song.
You're a fan of The Blob? It
Great
creeps
theme song.
And creeps and sleeps and slides. And then on October 26th, and I'm sure in October we'll have all sorts of Halloween programming.
I like The Blob. It's fun.
It's great, and it's one of the few horror movies where the teenagers are the heroes, not the victims.
Yeah.
I mean, they are some of the victims, but like the teenagers and the cops like team up together. Also, Steve McQueen's like 40 playing a teenager, but that's cool. And then on October, I'm sure there'll be a lot of Halloween programming, but on the 26th, guaranteed 16 Millimurder show of The Omen. It's all for you. It's all for you, Damien. And
now, can I ask you where do you get the prints from?
So there's some. Okay, so I don't have all the details on this because Harry's the one who gets the list, and there's a few different people who provide them to the Balboa, and they cost different amounts to lease. Which is why there's always this sort of cost benefit analysis of what movie. Because of course. First on the docket was like, oh my God, a print of Evil Dead. We should definitely show Evil Dead. It's $1,000, which means you got to make $1,000. Like you got to make $1,000 for that to be worth showing.
Awesome.
And also Day of the Dead was an option, similar pricing.
What's
a
the
lot
most
of
we
stuff like
paid
that.
for a movie? Like 3?
Oh, I don't know. I heard a rule because we have so many like film festival programmers out here, and I heard like if you go over 200, like don't do it.
Yeah,
that's really the cutoff.
Most of the ones that they get it's about 150, and so it's like it's a good bet, and especially with stuff like stuff like Crossroads, stuff like Bring It On, which is showing a rerun Wednesday coming up. That brings in a crowd, believe it or not. Like people show up to those, like they really come out for it. And
are they showing Drumline?
Oh, Nick Cannon is in trouble because he's pushing his anti-Semitic conspiracy theories.
Is he still doing that?
He is. Yeah,
I thought he turned that off.
He might have, but he can't walk it back. He said it. It's too late.
No, Nick.
It's too late for that. So I mean, all I'll say is in the first 3 weeks of the Balboa Theatre being open, I saw 10 different movies, like just like one after the other, just going. I was there all the time. It is such a vibe. On July 4th, they had a concert. It's the place to be. They've basically, I'm not trying to like make it seem too scenester, because you're welcome to come, whoever's listening, but it's culture in the Bay right now. Like, it really is. They got culture before anyone else did. They got to open. Castro, I don't think, is even really doing anything yet.
No.
I've
Yeah,
been
I was
stalking,
wondering
like,
about
when the
that.
hell are they going to open back up?
Again, they aren't showing anything yet.
Yeah.
And like, I've driven past there a few times at my work. It looks like they might not move back into the film. They might be just doing live events now.
No, don't say these
Yeah.
things.
I'm
Now,
scared.
the hot dog place is already gone. I'm already dealing with that.
I'm scared that you're right. I'm really scared that you're right, because the Noir City, I used to just get myself
Now
some-
that will probably come back.
yeah, something like that.
I think
Special
That was a
programming.
big thing for him.
Well, I think, it's that problem that Nick's talking about, where you got to pay a lot of money for
You
these
do.
movies. They're not willing to gamble on it. If Film Fest will pay you to be there.
Right.
So I think we're looking at live events and like Noir City.
I can live with that. I always get the passport to Noir City, and I see like 4 movies in a day.
I
so-
don't know. What is Amoeba going to put on those shelves if they don't have the fucking calendar for the Castro?
Right. But I was just at Amoeba earlier today. There's nothing on the shelves, but they did just release the newest edition of Music We Like, which they haven't had an edition of for 2 years. The Amoeba like guide to new music.
Yeah.
They finally released a new one, which I'm hyped about.
It's been 2 years since it. Oh, I 2020 doesn't count.
I mean,
That really wasn't a year for
last
anything.
time I was in this house, last time I was physically in the same space as you people, I was at your Christmas party.
Yeah.
2019.
And thank you for bartending it. It
Yeah.
was one of the
Oh.
highlights of that night.
I'll do it again, 2021.
We've gotten a new deck since then.
Oh, yeah.
very nice.
I heard that it collapsed moments after I left.
did.
Well,
yes.
So, okay. We talked about this yesterday, too. It didn't collapse, but we had somebody trying really hard to prove that it was sturdy,
Oh,
and he
God.
almost went right through
A
the
corner
floor.
was gone.
That would have been sort of funny if the guy proving it was sturdy.
I know. I
went
was on.
through.
Only if we had gotten it on camera.
That would have been a shame if he went
I
through
would have
there.
given it to Fail Force 1, baby.
I remember that night you did your White Elephant. I won a Doctor Who box set and an Adventure Time DVD, and I had watched all of the episodes on both of them. I loved it. I got the Cybermen and the Daleks. Loved it. It was a great turnout for me. And someone else won my HR Puff and stuff and said they didn't even have a VCR. So that was rough shit for them.
I traded whatever I had to get a shitty copy of Killing of a Chinese Bookie,
Oh, that's a good movie.
and now Jasadi has borrowed it, and I'll never see it again.
I remember the hottest item going around, and I don't know why, was the second remake of Black Christmas poster that was like oversized. It was like a giant
I think
version.
I took it from somebody and nobody came after
Really?
it. Yeah, I got it.
I thought Terrell was really trying to get that,
Well, that sounds about
I
right.
think Terrell hated the movie.
but wanted the poster.
That might be true. And I do the movie's in the stairwell.
Oh, yeah.
Or I mean the poster. I was gonna throw it up. Also, we have that poster, the oversized. What the
Dog's
fuck?
Way Home.
Yeah, no, it's the dog in the car movie.
Oh yes, the art of racing in the rain.
yeah.
Oh God.
Enormous poster.
Really, if we had a ladder, those would both be up in there.
You'd hang them out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to Terrell for always recommending obscure Blu-rays I've never heard of. Like insanely obscure. Megan Fox is still in movies. I mean, what?
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
we were supposed to
gotta
watch
I can't wait to
right?
watch that one. I'm trying to get that fool to start doing a podcast or like video. So
I would love
You'll
to.
get to see him.
I would really love to, speaking of Megan Fox, organize a Jennifer's Body screening. I'm trying to make it happen. I'll let you know if it does. I don't know if you guys are fans, but I like that movie.
oh yeah, I am
Yeah,
big
yeah.
time.
Never
Big
saw it.
time. Oh, it's a good one, Clark. You dig it. I did a private screening.
I'm
of it.
anti-Diablo Cody.
Yeah, I'm still mad at you guys for watching like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings at.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a solo screening.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
That's some bro time.
I'm completely fine with it. Did not phase me at all.
Well, don't you go to bed at like 8:30?
Yes, and no matter what time I go to bed, Tolkien has nothing to do with it.
Oh my God.
If you ever watch another fucking animated fantasy film again,
We'll think of
I
you.
better be invited.
Well, if I were to text you at like 6:30 p.m. and say, "Hey, can you make it to this theater at 11?" Would you be down to
Oh,
come out?
yeah.
Okay, I'll keep you in mind for that.
You
next
know
one.
what? I'd bring Oksana too.
He would do it.
I'll keep
Clark
you in
would
mind
not
for next one. Okay, that's okay. Oksana,
if
we'd love you to have you.
if girls are allowed in the boy
Girls
club or whatever.
are definitely allowed in the private
Yeah.
screenings.
But you got to pull
Yeah.
your dick out.
Uh-oh.
That's part of
a lot of the
boys.
time it's a girl majority. Last time we did a 5-person screening of Jennifer's Body, it was 3 girls, 2 guys. So it was good. It was
How many cups?
All right.
Jesus Christ.
That's how you end a show.
Do people even know what that is anymore?
They could
girls,
Google it.
1 cup?
Go Google it.
That's the kind of stuff that's in Charlotte's
you.
net, right?
I watched that video on my Wii.
Yeah.
One joke that I only told because it made me laugh, but I knew it was not going to get any laughs. Actually got laughs, and it was a 2 girls 1 cup joke.
All right.
Because the premise was very
You
long.
can't tease it.
I'll say it.
Okay.
I was talking about the food truck craze.
Sure.
And I was like, I want to do a food truck, but it's going to be a specially themed food truck. It's going to be, towards viral videos,
Sure.
because it's popular. It had a whole thing going, but essentially,
You got to do it.
I'm not in performance mode.
Hold on,
right
I
now.
feel like I've heard this joke before, but continue.
But I would just say, the name of my truck would be 2 Grills 1 Truck.
Oh, no, I've heard this joke, Clark. This is your
Yeah.
chestnut. You pulled this one out, I think, at the Christmas party. That's a good joke. And you know what? It would be a good food truck.
Did you? You were drunk at that Christmas party.
Thanks to me.
Nick, I threw up in that toilet.
That was some quality vermouth I gave you.
I was lying on this floor. I texted Madeline that I don't know where my room is. And she had to tuck me in bed that night.
Aw. She's everybody's mom.
Yeah, it was, and haven't really had our hard alcohol since then.
Have you guys seen Madeline since COVID? She was out for off,
Yeah,
right?
she was here for us.
But you watched 1974 at 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you met the director here.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah, he passed out
Back
on the
in
couch.
Yeah, he was drunk on
2019.
the
It was that guy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I met that guy. Yeah. That was such a good time.
Well, he said it was the best time of his life.
That's a little much, but it was fun.
He said this is the best day of my life.
That was a little fun.
I think that's when we were at the bar next to Another Hole in the Head, where he got so high that he floated out of the building, and then we were worried because we hadn't heard from him.
Right.
Up until 15 minutes before showing his movie.
He got zonked, man.
Well, good for him. I'm happy he had a good time. Yeah, I just want to say to everybody, please come out to the Balboa. See us. I'm not going to be here for the last 2 weeks of July, but other than that, I'll be there the whole time. However, in the last 2 weeks of July, a lot of great shit is happening. Anna Monday, the new Nick Cage Pig movie. Check out Gnar Hunters. They're showing all these weird skate and biker movies that I've never heard of. Last time I was there, I watched BMX Bandits with a young Nicole Kidman. Now they got Search for Animal Chin. I've never heard of any of these movies. And then, of course, I already christen every summer with 2 movies. Every summer break, because I'm a teacher, begins with Tiny Toons, How I Spent My Summer Vacation, and Wet Hot American Summer. And now I've already watched it, but they're doing Rewind Wednesday on July 14th of Wet Hot American Summer. And next, is it the 7th? What's this Wednesday? It's going to be Bring It On. So check that out too. And of course, July 27th, Frogs.
I'm more of a bring it on, in it to win it guy.
Is that the
Oh, they
second
have
one?
it on VHS? Holy shit.
That's what Rewind Wednesday is, bro.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, by the way, you have to see my shoes. It's kind of dark right now, but I got VHS themed shoes.
Oh, look at that.
Let me see if I can show the other side here. Yeah, there they are.
Oh, those are
those are
rad.
nice.
I'm into
Moon
that.
Lambo, baby. Yeah, they're fucking sweet.
When are we going to get to do a Rewind Wednesday? Look at all those VHS tapes. Oksana bought me a $100 VHS tape for my birthday.
What's that?
It's Ator 4, I believe.
Ator 4?
It's well, okay, we were talking about riff tracks.
Right. There's the original Ator is on the new MST3K.
And that's actually not the segue I was looking for. It's when a movie's already on its own pedestal, like
Sure.
Troll 2. You know Troll 2,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Well, they call that movie Troll 3.
They call Ator Troll 3?
Ator 4, Troll 3, because one of the trolls from Troll 2 is used in the movie.
Oh, it's the same director.
Same director.
Joe D'Amato.
And he's got an acting role. He plays a blacksmith. It is...
So you mean he found a way to Venn diagram his 2 movies into one? That's kind of amazing.
No. When we watch a fantasy film, it'll be that one.
Oh, I love sword and sorcery shit.
I know you
And
do.
sword and sandal shit and slashers, all the stuff Clark hates. I love all of it. I love all of it. That's my shit.
All right, we're at 140. You gonna
Yeah.
let him go?
Yes.
Come on, Clark.
Let me go.
I just
Y'all
want
can
to.
stay. Let me go.
I just want to say it was really nice to be here in this San Bruno National Park with you guys. It's beautiful out
Indeed,
here.
the land of spiders.
You guys are like the witch from Hansel and Gretel. You live in the middle of the forest.
Yeah. That's why we call it the Overlook Mountain.
Yeah, and it's great.
They got a tag for it.
I hope
And
you guys
because-
go hiking a lot because it's beautiful around here.
Come hike.
I should.
It's not a bad little
I
park.
got a corgi. I'll bring her around.
I saw the Blair Witch.
I'm not going to watch Charlotte's Net with my corgi with me, though. I know there's some dog abuse in that
You
movie.
mentioned the film again. It's going to show up in your inbox.
Oh, I want to watch it. I want to watch it, but I'm scared to watch it.
You got a cord?
Come over.
Yeah.
Bring Harry over. We'll watch it. We'll get
very
Clark
royal.
down there.
We have the censored version.
Do you have the uncensored version?
No, we got both.
I obviously want to watch the uncensored one if
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah. I should
Y'all
come.
live your life.
I'm seriously. I would love to come by and watch Charlotte's Net sometime. Let's,
All right,
let's
you're
figure out
invited
how to make it
anytime.
happen. Thank you guys. It's been an honor being on the show. Come by the Balboa Theater,
Wait, can I ask one more?
please.
God.
Please.
Why'd the podcast die?
Oh, okay. So
2 minutes.
This is okay. I can make this a tight one for you, Clark. So the podcast ended because of two personal projects going on for Harry and I. And by the way, it's not completely dead. I would call it in a coma.
Okay.
Because we're doing a thing we call the October Boys. And by the way, the podcast Russ is referring to is Cinematic Oblivion. You could still go to cinematicoblivion.com or anywhere you listen to podcasts and just type in Cinematic Oblivion and listen to the old stuff. We've moved to an annual format where we're going to do like one mega episode every Halloween for the
Okay.
foreseeable future, and we're calling it the October Boys, and we just cover everything. The main reason is because Harry started publishing. See, we put the first one. We called it our last episode ever, but we're sort of being dramatic. Harry started publishing an anthology comic where he would get all these horror comic writers to submit stuff. It's called Vacuum Decay. Look for it, order it, get your local comic book store to order it. Look for it at your local comic book store. It's great. It's surreal horror comics. There's 3 issues out already. He's already working on number 4. It's excellent. And he put a lot of his energy into that, and he's actually started like making significant money from art, which is great.
Good.
So also, I during COVID, and I have nothing to promote yet because it's not published, was writing a novel, and I finished it, and it's currently in the peer review phase, and I'm trying to find a literary agent and a publisher. But so we were both working
Wonderful.
on big personal projects, and we're like, we got to put the podcast on the back burner so we can do this. We're gonna meet up this October for October Boys episode 2 and do another big episode, and also looking into other social media for where Cinematic Oblivion can kind of move into next. I'm looking at your guys' like setup right here. We never got to this level. We never like every episode from the beginning to the end, you can hear sound problems the whole way through. You guys are professionals.
We got the table. We got the mics. We have the computer. We have a mixer. We have no talent though, and we don't do any research.
Well,
so
speak
you have
for
a
yourself.
beat.
I'm going to discover next.
Are you saying you're a studio for hire? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey.
Because this
I'm
is not
saying
a bad space.
We've learned some valuable lessons.
Yeah.
We took some heavy hits. One of which is hiring a former burnout DJ
I've heard that.
to be your initial.
I've heard that whole saga.
Yeah, where he holds up the USB cord and says, Idiot.
Well, you can even hear on our last episode the sound quality is garbage because I never quite got good at it. You know, all I know is movies. I don't know sound.
Exact. Hire a nerd.
Yeah, right.
Insert Randy.
Or come over here and record it.
That's honestly, Russ, you saying that is a game changer. So, like,
Do
I
it.
think that I will. The truth is, Harry is like, he's Mr. Busy all the time.
I get it.
And I'm not pretending I'm not busy, but I'm a teacher. So I get these long vacations.
know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's in the service industry. So he's like, I got to go from the comic book store to the theater, and then I got to go do a mural, and then I'm hosting an event. And so he's just all over the fucking joint all the time.
I was shocked. I met him when he was working at the Alamo. I couldn't believe he had 4 jobs.
Yeah, dude is a hustler.
And and he's like a host and an event dude. And I'm like, but you seem so like, I don't know, quiet and kind of like introverted.
Everywhere we go, I run into someone who knows him. Today, I was bringing him his birthday present. He's like, "Hey, could you pick up a birthday present from me from a street artist who's on Hate on this intersection?" And I go and I go to Hate and Clayton, and I'm like, "Hey," to this guy who's got paintings on the side of the street. I'm like, "Do you know Harry?" He's like, "Oh, Harry, yeah, I painted this for him. Take it to him." And I'm like, "Harry, I swear to God, this guy has got fingers in every part of San Francisco. It's crazy. Good for him." And also at the concert the other night on July 4th, that was partially dedicated to him. He knew like someone from every band. He's deeply intertwined. I'm a nerdy teacher over here. All I know is teenagers who I don't want to hang out with. You know?
Good call.
Now, well, next time you're on, we'll make sure to bring him.
Yes.
We'll have Harry back.
He's on a plane to Vermont. That's why he can't be here.
Yeah.
He was getting some syrup.
Yeah. I'm going out there too. I'm going to meet him in about a week. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course.